See, I was right.
Alright, hello and welcome everyone! Here we are, finally the semi-
I'm ready for some top 4 action here. Semi-finals. We've come a long way, several months to get to this point.
It really has been, it's been an incredible journey. And for those, of course, who have been following along, you may know some of this stuff. But I'm just going to really quickly read through the bracket to see who these two teams got through. Father-son bonding to get this far in just the bracket itself. Got through OCS, Dav Mike, the Lucksackers, Dompe Digging Rush, and of course now they're matched up against AYAYAlpha Gamers, who got through the Keltland Crusaders, River Baron, and last week, or I guess this was maybe more than last week, time is flying by, but they did get the victory over Washed, which we commentated there as well. So this is going to be a best of 3, not all in one day, thankfully, but it will be a best of 3, and this, of course, is game 1.
And then the other games are scheduled here. So again, best of 3. We got game 2 coming up this Saturday. And then if a game 3 is necessary, that's going to be Sunday, October 4th.
Yep, and we are off.
Except for, okay, there we go.
Yeah,
There we
it was
go.
A little late, but
Hey, it's all right. They've stepped on the gas. And I want you guys to know I am listening to the 10-hour loop of gas. Highly recommended listening.
We got a good hint to start with. We don't need 30 skulls.
Hooray! And lots of bomb locations. Not like the bomb bag, but just like getting bombs, you know.
Hey, I have seen people buy bomb refills before. They are worth their weight in gold sometimes.
Yeah, and we see a pretty standard start from all 4 runners going straight to Kakariko in the graveyard. So it looks like everybody's gonna be on the same page at the start here.
Yeah, this is really... I remember the first time that we commentated AYAYAlpha Gamers and we saw this opening. Our minds were frankly blown at this idea. I mean, partially because we were still somewhat new to this format, but I mean, the idea of double CAC, and now it just seems like every week it's double CAC on both sides, and then at that point, that's really where the split in the opening starts to come into play.
Yeah, and for those who aren't that familiar, there's a very, very high chance that something useful will be in adult CAC right away, like this adult wallet for 155. Or, I'm sorry, that would be the Giant's wallet. It's a little pricey, though.
Wait, you guys just aren't going to mention the fact that ice arrows were there?
I mean, that's probably why Namaha's going back in there, right? He's... Oh, no. Someone's on... Oh, both teams are team by a shield. Okay, fair enough.
Under these settings where hearts are in short supply, it's pretty understandable.
And on Roof Furugate, oh, that is not a mistake you can make in the top 4 Namaha. Come on, man. Nice rupee refill.
Immediately. What are these Dompe times, by the way? We didn't even predict at the start. They're halfway through. Is it too late to predict now? Is it tainted?
I think it's tainted. Another repeat hit very early on. That's kind of unfortunate. Oh, 48. Got it. Interesting. Goomba slightly ahead of Namaha in CAC Town, while Riley is slightly behind SaltySponge in the graveyard race, and they get the Bolero.
Bolero and an early Deku shield there, so they won't have to worry about buying it or finding another.
Yeah, it's nice to have both shields already. I say both, of course. Third, potentially, could be found as well, but... With Bolero early and this split, I'm guessing one of them's probably going to head back over to Ganon pretty shortly if an item isn't found here in the next couple checks. And another Deku shield. All right, well, there you go.
Yeah, I can imagine that one of these racers are going to be playing Bolero Fire sooner rather than later, so they can get another free song.
Yeah, but that is the tricky part here. When you have Bolero, but you don't really have anything to build off of the Bolero check, it is nice to get the song early, but part of me wonders if they're going to opt to do it now just to hit the song and check, or if maybe they'll save it for later.
And this is what Namaha is going to do right now here. He's going to go ahead and check Bolero Fire. We're going to get another song check, and then he'll probably save quit into Castle. Or not save quit. That's handy.
That is really handy to get.
In the meantime, we're already seeing a split here from the two different teams here. We have Goomba going Zora's River. This is a very early Zora's River, and Namaha is going to actually go straight into the Fire Temple.
Yeah, both getting Prelude, I think, makes a lot of sense. If you want to do any sort of splits, it definitely makes the child side a little bit more, I guess we'll say, comfortable. I don't know, whenever you don't have warp songs as a child, it always is a little bit unfortunate, especially if you're worried about the day and night cycle.
All right, we're going to see the early check of Legends here in Fire. Is it going to pay out? No, just a skull token.
I mean, it could pay out when something's on 20 skulls, right? Right?
Right, because these
like
settings,
your
it's
first Pokemon, you know?
Never know.
Right, because in these settings, it's virtually impossible to get to 20 skulls normally.
Dude, a bunch of repeat Gossip Stones very early here. It's a little shocking to me. I think that's like the third repeat. Yeah, it is a good point, though. They now know that Fire Temple is hammer locked.
Mm-hmm. But we're finally getting to see which dungeons are medallions. And, well, we already kind of knew up here that fire is a
Tell them.
We won't tell them. Fire is a stone. They just saw it.
They
So
did.
hopefully we won't have to go deeper.
Yep. Hammer locked and stone fire. Never pleasant to start things off.
Oh, there's
And we
the
got
book for
strength.
Yeah.
Aw, they got a shield. Wasn't necessary to buy.
And then some free money. Well, one of them's free money. If you come out positive, it's still free money. Meanwhile, I believe Goomba did go up and grab that Prelude of Light, so no dips there into Fire Temple, but they, of course, will now know as well, so pretty nice. It looks like they're both going to be splitting out about the same way here. We are going to see a child come out here from Goomba, and of course we see father-son bonding opting to do the same.
Has scale in play. It's always nice to get the scale early so you can do the Zora's River to Lost Woods Warp. I missed what was in Knight's Shop. Did anyone catch that?
I too missed it, but it looks like we'll get a second chance real quick. I don't think it was much because
He ran out there quick.
yeah.
Yeah.
The only real items that we have so far are the scale, and we know where the adult wallet is, and that's pretty much it as far as useful things.
Do we know where the adult wallet is? I thought that was Giant's wallet.
It's sorry, Giant's wallet.
Yeah, it's giants, but we do have a strength, so we might see Dodongo's cavern.
Okay, yeah, so absolutely nothing worth grabbing. Wow. Like, usually when you go into a shop, there's something that you could maybe see yourself buying if absolutely necessary, but man.
Field early always makes the Stalfos fight not nearly as awful.
Still pretty bad, but, you know, levels to it for sure. You know, I think that looking at this now, I think this is one of the emptier openings that we've seen in some of the seeds that we've commentated. It seems like in almost every one of them, there's either some, as we find the location of Song of Time, there's usually something that you get in the opening bit, which is why this is such a popular opening, just kind of sequence. But now, again, both teams going in the same general direction right now, opting to go child here, so we won't see the Dodongos coming out as early as we thought.
Well, the only divergence that we've seen so far from these two teams, even though they're roughly in the same place right now, is that father-son bonding opted to check the fire temple to see if it was hammerlocked, and then AYAYAlpha Gamers checked to see if Zora's River had anything as adult. So those are the really only differences we've seen here.
Yeah, so Song of Time's a little bit interesting here, being on Burning Kakariko. You at least get some knowledge about Water Temple. You're not going to have to go into the river, most likely. We're probably just not going to need any of the Song of Time skulls in the other dungeons either.
Yeah, under these settings, you look at Song of Time a little bit differently for that exact reason.
We got a 60 rupee bomb bag showing up, as well as an 85 rupee Bigorons.
Wow, and he picks the bomb bag over the Vigoron sword? Are you crazy? Come on.
Yeah,
There's the item that we were looking for.
Don't you know how much damage you can do with the Bigoron sword?
But yeah, that's some good progression. It's nice here for the runners that they have both Deku Tree and Dodongo's Cavern as medallions. Those are going to be some easy clears that will hopefully lead to more progression items while they're there.
Yeah, Minuet as well. A very, very nice song. Especially to get it on the child side as well. Makes that pesky Saria check a little bit easier to do once you dip into Lon Lon. And at that point...
Hold on a sec. Did Goomba not check the shops? Is my mind deceiving me, or did he?
Well, he didn't buy anything if he did. Because he definitely has enough money.
I think he skipped it then.
Maybe he's counting on Riley to check that after he does
Yeah,
Lon Lon?
then Riley's probably going to be checking it here.
Yeah, but it's not great, because he's going to want that bomb bag probably.
Yeah, they have Prelude, though, so... I mean...
Yeah, I guess that's not too bad.
And
yeah, if they send him to do Deku Tree, right, then it's alright.
Yeah, it's not too shabby, and I think the other part of it, too, that's kind of nice to note is that, you know, just looking at the way that AYAYAlpha Gamers have kind of gotten their wins, they've been so good at not doubling up on anything if necessary. They've just done a fantastic job this entire tournament of dividing up who goes where and trying to keep it as efficient to run as possible. And this may just be another evolution of that.
Yeah, Riley's going to go back in and check the shops. And we got Zel's Lullaby coming out on Epona Song here. So a nice selection of songs pretty early on here.
Yeah, wow. Actually, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's... All we need now is Requiem to show up very shortly, and if Requiem's on Saria's song, then you've really got all the annoying songs out of the way early.
Yeah, minus Nocturne, but...
That one's kind of a gimme.
It'll appear when it appears.
Just waiting on it to be an ice cavern. We'll be fine.
But we did see Riley get the bomb bag, so they have all of that info. There is also a slingshot in the shop. Probably won't need it, but we might see someone pick it up later.
Good for knowing the seed logic, just in case they wanted to map that out. Deku Tree is Forest Medallion, so it's not like it's... Well, I guess now you know that you're supposed to do Deku Tree early.
Right, if you're in Logic Slingshot comes in really early, then it's there. And hey, a Goron Tunic, not a horrible thing. I think we saw that earlier, but I might have missed that.
Yep, both teams now have the tunic, which, you know, again, they're going to hope they don't need.
Otherwise, pretty dead Lon Lon Ranch here, unless there's some.
Yeah, it's really so far just the song, so everybody's gonna have to go out there.
4 runners in Lon Lon Ranch almost at the same time. There's always that point in the seed where all the teams kind of end up in the same general spot.
Hey, another Deku Shield.
Is that
Hooray.
3 already that we've seen?
Is that 4 maybe?
God.
All right, so what we're seeing here is now, of course, you have preload of life, so it's very easy to get back here and get the bomb bag without even having to think about it.
Mm-hmm. And we are going to see the slingshot being picked up by Riley. So they're not going to take any chances here on, like, Lost Woods target, it looks like. They want to get that cleared
that's
and out of their minds.
That's a pretty safe play here, as we just find out that Bomb Troop Pulling is dead. So, wonder if they will either come back to get that later or just skip it altogether.
It looks like Riley's doing a little bit of extra farming too, maybe going for the big Oron sword as well. I think, yeah, this is a reasonable play. Farm up, grab it early, save yourself a lot of time.
Yeah, and in the
They
meantime,
might
we're
go
getting our
play
first look.
Bantu here as well.
We're gonna get our first look at Mido's house in Kokiri Forest. What do we got?
Oh, we got Requiem up in the Sacred Forest meadow.
Hey, that's what we called for. And the bow in Mido's house.
Oh, yeah. So now that slingshot might come into play for Child Spirit.
The Gossip Stone had an Ocarina of Time hint, but I didn't catch it.
One of our fantastic volunteer trackers were able to get it.
That was a massive sale on money in Kokiri shop. These hints otherwise have not really given much of anything in the Gossip Stones. Adiponas.
We do finally have some interesting routes, as we got Goomba with the quick Deku Tree, which I think makes the most sense. You want to get that fast because it's your Forest Medallion. Riley doing a few Hyrule field checks to get them out of the way. But on the other side, you got Sponge out there getting Child Spirit area. And we'll see what Namaha looks like. He's going to also clear out part of the field here.
Now, I wonder if we're going to see Riley just flat out. Well, I wonder if he's gonna do the Saria song check at this point.
I think he's gonna go to Deku Tree real soon here. He's gonna get the knowledge from Goomba on whether or not he needs any of these upstairs checks. And you're gonna want to get this cleared out while you're a child, get the song. So I wouldn't be surprised if he runs through Lost Woods and hops in the tree.
Bugs 2 is dead. Hooray!
Darn.
Alright, so here is Riley getting Requiem. Oh, this is all dungeons. Ocarina of Time is Nocturne. This is all dungeons, baby.
Uh-oh.
Alright. Wait, who made this seed? Did Star make this? If not, this is
thought it was
already.
Jay.
Well, congratulations, Jay. Jay generated a all dungeon seed, so we'll see if it's as bad as the Star seed.
Oh, it's him. Well, we're going back to fire, everyone.
At least we know it's hammerlocked.
Yeah. Well, one of our teams knows that. But now it makes you wonder, do either of these teams feel like they may have an advantage knowing we have a long seed here? It is all dungeons. Like, you want to maximize your execution now. And we've seen a lot of clean execution from AYAYA over the course of the tournament. So I think, I feel like Riley has said in the past they like these kinds.
And like, I guess as far as like knowledge for the seeds so far here, I think as far as knowledge goes, I think Father Son does have a very slight advantage because obviously they know the Fire Temple is hammerlocked, but like that's not really that much of an advantage at the moment because that can easily change.
Yeah, it's not the biggest, but we do see more splits in the routing. Oh,
there's
you don't want to see that there.
Boomerang locked hammer. Oh boy.
I'm sure Goomba was like, no, I have to come back.
Ooh, double defense in Lost Woods.
But we do see father-son bonding here. Pretty split as they're getting Goron City and the lake cleared out on Child's side.
I haven't seen anything, like, none of these teams have found anything significant in the last 5 minutes, though.
No, other than the hammer, which we can't actually grab yet.
I made it back. My Discord decided it didn't want to stay down for too long.
Well, you're just in time. We're just about to see what Goron Chop has.
Yeah, I saw all dungeons. I take it that somebody found hammer?
Yep, the back room in Deku Tree. So
Wow.
the hammer is boomerang locked.
And we know that we need to beat Baronade anyway, so...
Yeah,
And then there was a very, very cheap bow in Goron City shop.
And nothing on Goma, so Deku Tree overall, not exciting to be there right now because the only thing of value you gotta come back for.
Right, and you know, it's actually kind of interesting to see father-son bonding. I think doing Child Lake, like you said, that's not really something that, like, I don't know. I feel like Child Lake is one of those checks that you either cycle in early on because you're just trying to get done with Child, or it's because you really don't feel like you've got anything else. But I mean, they've got the tools to do some later stuff. I guess they just really want to get Child out of the way before somebody commits to a Dodongo's dive.
Yeah,
Neither Deku nor Dodongo is coming out on the side of Father's Son here. Meanwhile, Goomba is the only one with Deku Tree out of the way and has the knowledge that Hammer is in there.
And as for the question in chat, I don't think they're putting it off because they don't have the boomerang or anything. I think they just prefer getting these checks done in this route first. I think we'll see a Deku Tree dive from Father Son very soon here. Because you don't know where the boomerang is. It could even be in the Deku Tree for all, Namaha&TheSaltySponge know.
I guess the real question is, at what point do we see somebody make a Child Spirit dip? That is a somewhat tasty play with an in-logic slingshot, in-logic bombs early on.
Yeah,
and
knowing it's all dungeons makes that play a lot more tasty, as you want to just get the dungeon knowledge out of the way anyway.
Also, I feel like Gooma's going to be going adult here so we can see what song you get from the prelude check, because this will probably help determine if Riley wants to be doing Deku Tree this early or not. If he does Deku Tree now, he's double dipping, no doubt.
Does AYAYAlpha Game? Do both teams know that it's all dungeons?
I believe
Yes, both
so,
teams.
yeah.
Both teams have seen that they're all dungeons.
Okay.
Skull
Although
Kid
Father
is
Son was the
dead.
first.
You know, when my Discord died, I was actually very worried at first that it was just my internet going down, but the sweet, sweet tunes of Manuel's Gas, Gas, Gas informed me that no, it was not my whole internet, it was just Discord.
Riley's gonna be save quitting here. Meanwhile, we got a Zora's Domain check.
Yeah, coming up to Zora's, this is a pretty, I guess, aggressive play. They have scale, so it's not nearly as bad as it could be, but this is one, I mean, these are checks that you really do when you want to be thorough, because especially since you know that it's all dungeons and you're going to be coming up here anyway. I guess maybe because it's all dungeons, it doesn't hurt quite as much if this doesn't come out as anything, but it's interesting to see Zora's Domain so early.
It's also interesting seeing Riley go into Deku Tree here, knowing that he's not going to be able to get the hammer. There's value in getting the song, but they haven't found out what that is yet. So I'm not entirely sure I agree with jumping in here so soon, but maybe the song will really pay out.
Oh, and Sun Song. I have a feeling it's gonna be Sun Song.
I mean, what would you hope, Storms?
See, what did I say? Who knows all?
I guess Epona's song could have been a pretty interesting shakeup there too.
Epona's was Requiem.
It's on Requiem.
Oh.
I don't know if they checked that yet.
Well, he's gonna now.
Yeah, now they are.
So still no hook shot here. I would say hook shot was probably the priority at the moment.
And yes, VXR, there are 3 red rupees in the Kakiri shop. It's just a full-on sale of money.
Sale on money. Ooh, we got a light arrow sighting on the scrub in Hyrule Field. That's not in like a terribly out of the way spot because I presume opponents.
Yeah, I don't imagine anyone will have trouble getting there. I feel like we should be seeing Dodongo's Cavern soon, although it's certainly not ideal without a hook shot yet.
Real question now is will we see a reverse Wasteland play come out here? Because very viable at this point, especially since you know that Epona's is in Logic. I know I did see some people in chat joking about Rush GTG, but okay, we're not going to see it, okay. I was going to say, like, do you really pull that trigger this early on since you've gotten what you have? And we are validated as well, important to note.
We are. And yes, it looks like father-son bonding will soon have knowledge of that hammer as they get their first look at Deku Tree. We're all pretty even so far. No one's really gotten an advantage by any of these slight divergences.
No. The interesting thing to note, though, and we talked about this a lot in the last seed that we commentated, which was AYAYAlpha Gamers versus Washed, is even though some of these extra checks that these teams are diverging on may not be giving either side an advantage, if it becomes a race for one item left, I mean, we saw last time the team that did more of the checks early on, but didn't necessarily get rewarded for it, did get rewarded in that sense. Saved them a lot of time later on, so I think both teams have been playing pretty efficiently, though, with their routing. The one difference, of course, being Deku Tree, or the double Deku Tree, coming out of AYAYAlpha Gamers.
I think we're going to see some dual child spirit coming up here, and we are. Meanwhile, Goomba is going to be taking a peek at the Goron shop for the first time, and he'll find out there is a very, very cheap bow in there.
Yeah, 2 in-logic bows this early. Not something you see every seed.
And there, Sponge sees everyone's favorite hammer.
This might be the first time I've actually seen a required progression item on that. It always seems like we always worry about it and it ends up not being anything, but this time it actually is. And a small key on child side as well.
So logically
2, looks
required.
like. Yeah, there's 2 actually. One in the skull and one in the chest, so there you go.
So, child spirit, definitely the good play to make here. I just wonder where Goomba's gonna go next from here. I think Goomba goes Dodongo's Cavern, I presume.
Yeah, I think whatever we see Sponge do here is going to be pretty big for father-son bonding as well. Because they've done a lot of the dirt checks so far.
We get to see the Zord to the price. Didn't catch it before, but it is $195, so probably not buying it anytime soon here. We're just gonna hope to get some more hearts, I guess.
Area here, Death Mountain Crater. Riley's gonna, or sorry, Goomba's gonna be checking some of these.
Was that arrows on top? It was kind of hard to see.
It was a Deku Stick.
Deku Stick. Either way, not helpful.
Couldn't really see what the skull was from there.
Got some nice synchronized climbing going on in Spirit.
Oh, the skull was a skull. Aw, King Zora's dead. That's disappointing.
Now it's a seed. All we need is for Song of Storms to be an ice cavern and we're fine.
Oh, we have triple child spirit here, everyone. Which again is fine because we know that child spirit is all the requirements.
Yeah, it's going to give them some flexibility on the adult side whenever they finally do have to come back here as well. If they do opt to double dip, they'll be able to split it up pretty nicely. Of course, still a ways to go before that double dip is viable.
Alright, we got another bomb bag. Alright, so we don't know where Surya Song is, we don't know where Storms is, so I think we just have Ice Cavern, and then... what's the other place we don't know?
Composer's Grave.
Yeah, no one's actually gone back to get that song yet.
I wanna hope, Song of Storms and Composer's Grave.
It was probably the closest to checking that, but he finds the letter.
Hey!
Very low sphere Rudo's letter.
It's a good pickup. If he finds something in Cavern here, that could push AYAYA ahead here. If we could find a boomerang or a hook shot, could really
Meanwhile,
get moving.
Namaha snuck ahead of Riley in Spirit Temple. I'm not exactly sure what happened there.
I think Riley missed a jump for a check earlier. He was trying to light his stick or something like that. Oh wow, that's a fantastic a rush ice emote. I need that emote.
Oh, there's a boss key. We need boomerang again.
Wow.
Or hookshot. We could find hookshot and come back with that.
Right. On child's side. That's a really interesting spot for the boss key to be. I'm curious if weird spirit key logic will come into play at all for this. If they have to come here before they have long shot, that could be a really interesting spot for that.
And Namaha, you were having a nice clean spirit, and then you got chopped in half.
Happens to the best of us. This is why I take every iron knuckle fight like the cautious wimp that I am.
But the difference here is that Riley actually has double defense, and that, well, if he does get hit accidentally, that would pay off big. Because he wouldn't die in one hit.
Nope, he gets 2 shot. And now we'll see if that death will come back to bite. If this is a progression item here...
Yeah, they've just let that check go. And it's just a key, so...
Yeah, so they're probably safe.
Yeah, they had to spend 2 keys to get here, so... Again, with Spirit Temple key logic, I have to imagine there's probably a failsafe there.
Yeah, we did see fire arrows come into play here. Sponge is found. But yes, as Jay's saying, Spirit logically requires long shot as well now. Probably not going to need the Song of Time, because we've seen a fair amount of keys already, but...
And Nama's probably kicking himself because now he got the double B. Yeah, the no hook shot can be in Shadow Temple.
Well, at some point you'd think we're starting to run out of places to look for a long shot then.
And Goomba now is, sorry, not Goomba, Riley's going to be checking here to see if we are hammerlocked, and he's going to find out shortly that he is. We got a new check coming out in Sunstone Grave, and we're probably going to see Composer's Grave shortly after as well.
Yeah, and Composer's Grave having Song of Storms would really start to flip this over. And then if it doesn't, then suddenly, well, even an ice cavern fanatic like me, I mean, can you justify going to ice at that point, or do you bet it all on it being on GTG, provided that no progression item is found here pretty quickly?
Well, if this is Storms, I feel like GTG is not going to be a priority.
Right. No, if it's Storm's, bottom of the well is almost certainly, or at least some grotto checks, if nothing else.
Still got a decent amount of Dodongo's Cavern left here, though. Looks like Riley's going to do some adult lake checks, although he can't do fishing.
Ooh, it's Saria's in the grave, so...
Oh boy! Time to go to Ice Cavern. Where's that Rush Ice emote?
All dungeons in Song of Storms and Ice Cavern.
I want to see the sphere count for this seed. It's probably not going to be bigger than the one that
No.
and Pie's team got, but
Yeah, blue potion. Not too bad. Not just all dungeons, all optional dungeons too.
well, we don't know if Bomb of the Well is required yet.
I mean, we technically don't know that Song of Storms is required either, but we're starting to run out of checks for items, and we need a lot of items.
Yeah, Dodongos is not paid out here, so
Did Salty take a salty plunge into the water there? Did anyone get that?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He's fine.
Yeah, and if anybody is joining this for the first time and isn't aware of some of the different settings, in these settings, Dungeon Skulls can have checks, so it does make Ice Cavern a much more stomachable play even early on. So
It does, but those skulls, we can see them right now, but we can't actually
right.
we can't actually get them without the hook shot.
that's right. I just took it for
So-
granted.
It's still a bit of a risky play.
Man, and Sponge and Riley are stepping
Yo,
seven
we
right
have-
now.
Second straight.
You have
Silver.
second strengths.
So now we can go further into the adult side of Spirit.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the better play.
Yeah, that's going to open up quite a few checks too, and they do know about that as well. I don't believe that Goomba has done
No,
anything
Goomba has
inside of
to-
Ganon's.
He has
So
to pick up the other one in Ganon's, but
he's adult, thankfully. So if he wants to work that in immediately after doing Dodongos, that's not too out of the way to get.
Yeah, and I mean, they know where silvers are, so it's not that big of a deal. They'll route it in.
Yeah, and Riley happened to be in the area as well, so this is working out very, very well for them in terms of their routing so far.
So let's kind of look at the progression of these two teams 40 minutes in so far here. So I feel like, obviously, Father Son Bonding has done more overworld checks, but I feel like AYAYA has done more dungeons.
well, they got Cavern on them, and I like this play here. Riley getting to do the choose strat because he comes in right as Goomba's like, you know, pretty much cleared it out and says, hey, just come to the end. So it's very nicely timed by them. In terms of routing, you know, I'm not sure whose I like better at this point, because on one hand, pushing the dungeon quicker, you know, you like that, but knowing it's all dungeons and you need a lot of stuff, you know, Father-Son Bonding has routed in things in a pretty nice way. So,
Yeah, I guess we don't really know who has an advantage. So Dodongo giving us magic.
Yeah, that's big. It's one of those situations where if the dirt checks, the open field checks had stuff, we'd be saying that Father-Son Bonding had the better routing, but it is one of those things where, you know, hindsight is 2020. I do agree that right now I think that AYAYalpha Gamers has, at the very least, a little bit of an upper hand. The fact that they're going to have 2 dungeons done for each of them, and they're both going to have, I presume, silvers pretty quickly here. They already have Child Spirit mapped out. They know where all the keys are, so I think that they're feeling pretty good.
The only significant thing that Father-Son Bonding has over them is the light arrows, and that's something that can be checked anyway later on, so not too bad.
No, not bad at all. They do also have the knowledge of what's in Composer's Grave, but as we know, that's Saria's song, and
yeah, it looks like
Goomba's probably gonna figure that out here pretty shortly
going
too.
right now after he checks Spo game. Yeah, well, like Diesler is saying, like, right now, there's a bit of a lead, I would say, for Ayaya, but if we get a treasure hunt, you know, for one of these items in the end, you know, father-son bonding are right back together here, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that was the theme of the Washed versus AYAYAlpha Gamers match as well. It was a situation where it became a treasure hunt in the end, and we were saying if it was in a spot that wasn't Deep Fire Temple, then it was probably going to go in favor of Wash, but it ended up being Deep Fire Temple, and the team that was a little bit more thorough won. So that is one of the things that's so exciting about seeing how teams split at the start, is there is an element of luck to it, even if you play your cards right.
And keep in mind that Nocturne of Shadow is all dungeons here. We have not seen a hook shot, and yet we need long shot for Water Temple Stone. So Shadow is 100% an extremely late dungeon. Oh, I'm sorry, water is not a stone. But still, forest is a stone, so we need to at least see a hook shot. Wait, no, we determined that long shot is required for Spirit, I believe, right?
Logically, long shot is required for Spirit because of the key on the one hand.
So in that case, we should be seeing long shots sooner rather than later.
We should certainly be seeing a hook shot pretty soon. I mean, the fact that we got a logical Eponas as well makes me think that at some point someone's got to bite the bullet and run out to the desert. And now that silvers are in play, I have to imagine that after a few more dirt checks are out of the way, one team is going to make that call pretty quickly here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of checks still out there for these teams. Like I said, there's a bunch in Jabu under these settings. Then you have Ice and GTG.
Yo, both hook shots and Deep Fire. Let's go.
That's monstrous.
What? No. Oh, okay, or even better. One is Deep Fire, then the other's on Pierre.
Evil. Positively evil. Okay, so where's our boomerang then? You better.
Boomerang chest, obviously.
That's
no.
That's not out of play here.
It's gonna be Stinger's chest, vanilla.
Yeah,
because that's where Namaha's going right now, dude.
Yeah. And given that a warp back to Temple of Time is coming in shortly here, I imagine that Goomba's probably going to be following in that path sooner rather than later. Maybe leave the spirit stuff to Riley. Which I guess actually makes perfect sense now that I think about it, because Riley has all the keys and he knows he at the very least knows the layout of the dungeon so far with what he's found.
He is going to go into Spirit Temple here.
Yeah, Riley also already has the silvers. I don't think Goomba's yet to pick up the second.
No, yeah, he is going to go up to Zora's.
And again, this is a good play here because this is going to free up Ice Cavern, which is, again, going to get you Song of Storm, which will unlock a lot of checks here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Riley doesn't find anything here, then I would say that something has to be in Jabu here, at the very least from a peak standpoint. So I'm curious to see what Sponge is going to do here, and if something is found in Jabu before Sponge gets done with the Dongos, I think that could be a really interesting routing choice for father-son bonding.
But we can't have Hookshot or Boomerang behind the Song of Time block in the Boulder Room here, so I'm curious to see if it is anything, but chances are it's probably not much at all.
It's another slingshot.
Oh, clearly that's the in-logic slingshot right there.
What is logic anyway?
I don't got an answer for that, unfortunately.
No one actually knows. We just guess and go along.
Nothing of value in Jabu or Adult Spirit so far here. Yo, let's get a bet going. Where's the hook shot?
You know, I'm thinking they need to go get Storms and then ride out to Gerudo Valley, hit up that Storms Grotto out there. Boom, 2 hook shots.
Oh. It is this future crystal ball acquire angle telling us where the hook shots are going to be.
So this is really interesting here. The fact that there actually isn't going to be anything done up in the Zora area by Goomba. I thought for sure he was going to serenade, head up there, and follow along the same path as Namaha, but this is interesting. I guess going to get silvers, and then what after that? I'm curious what the thought process is here. I guess going out to the desert, maybe meeting up with Riley there. Oh, Goomba doesn't have the scale. Ah, okay. That's right, because scale was in... Oh, yep, okay. Now it's all making sense. I forgot that this is where they got the scale as well.
So if you missed it, Riley actually took a pretty bad fall there. He missed the... He doesn't have hook shot, and he missed the jump into getting one of the chests that spawn when you play the Song on the Hand. So now he has to... Well, I thought he was going to loop back for it. Now he's not going to do that.
Nope, and Namaha is gonna leave Jabu empty-handed. So being the first team through half of that, doesn't really get them anything. But we may see him go to Ice Cavern now.
Yeah, and again, Riley not opting to go for anything in the GTG area. So now,
this
maybe
is gonna
opting
be the
to...
Ice Cavern, or sorry, Jabu play.
Yeah. We're gonna get some of my least favorite checks in the game. Shadow Trial.
Shadow Trial. With just fire arrows.
Namaha take a salty swim as well.
No, don't worry about it. They're fine. It's all good.
Okay. Sponge just made a mistake. He didn't have silvers.
I think Sponge and Goomba were both kind of like, oh, I guess we kind of need silvers in the scale at this point. I think they were hoping to not come back here without maybe a hook shot, but maybe the hook shot's in Shadow.
Wouldn't that be a character? Man.
Possibly.
The progression items are playing an amazing dodging game right now.
What do you mean? The hammer is sitting right there waiting for them.
Yeah. It's
not hiding at all. It's in plain sight.
Yeah, it's like when you have I don't know, you put something up on a shelf and you know that you're not going to be able to reach it. Goomba grabbing the blue fire as well.
I guess Goomba doesn't know that King Zora's dead.
I mean, it's still fine to grab the fire for actual ice.
So now over the next little bit, and we've actually kind of seen it already with Goomba doing the lake checks, there's going to be a pretty decent chunk of time here dedicated to catching up to what father-son bonding already does know. So the first one by a long shot, no pun intended, inside of Ice Cavern is going to be Namaha here. So I would say this is probably going to put them in a pretty good spot in terms of at least knowing what's new. And I have to think that something is... I mean, we know that Song of Storms is out here, but I have to think a progression item's not too far off, too, if it's not an ice cavern.
I mean, at that point, will we see GTG?
I mean, where else is there at that point?
We're going to go to the well, and we're going to go to all of these wonderful storms, grottos, I think. But, you know, I think right now, you know, we were saying AYAYA was ahead by a little bit before, but Spirit didn't really give them anything, and Namaha is the first in ice, so father-son bonding, you know,
I
may
feel
have a
like
slight lead.
the momentum's swinging back the other way here because the checks that AYAYA were doing just didn't really help them very much.
It didn't. The one thing they still have going for them, though, is Namaha is going to make it in here first, but Namaha hasn't done any of DC. So that is one thing. They have DC mapped out. It's not going to take too long to get through it, but the advantage that they have right now has come at a bit of a price. So we'll see if the advantage in the time that they build up here is able to make up for what they're going to have to give back here in a little bit. Because you do have to go fairly deep into it. You don't have to do a ton of checks, but you do have to get through the king, of course, and Silver's out there as well.
And we saw in a hint stone there that 20 skulls is dead. So that leaves all of our skulls dead. We don't need to collect any now.
Always a nice feeling.
It's certainly nice in these settings where, you know, you don't entirely know where all your tokens are going to be.
Meanwhile, Riley gonna find that it's a long, long journey through a very empty Jabu Jabu's belly.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he ate anything interesting for us today.
Yeah, some of the lore behind, like, some of the implications behind certain items being in Jabu's belly in these settings, like the Megaton Hammer, for instance. How does a Goron treasure end up inside of Jabu Jabu? I don't understand. So I suppose the real interesting piece here is if there is a hook shot that we can't reach inside of Ice Cavern, and we have to double dip Ice Cavern.
If there's anything we can't reach, it's gonna be real painful for our runners.
We already have a double dip for Deku in play, and obviously several dips Spear Temple already, so not looking very fun.
Both hook shots being on skulls that you can't reach. What an Ice Cavern that would be.
Ooh, and look at this. Goomba is actually just gonna go back. Just he'll move King Zora here, then go back as an adult.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable given that they know Storms is here. I think that's actually a pretty reasonable play here, dividing up the work that they have. Kind of banking on the fact that there's not a huge progression item inside of Jabu, and of course we know that there isn't, but that's a pretty brave gamble to take. Maybe it's not as brave as I'm making it out to be, but if you get all the way over there and then find out that your hook shot is in deep Jabu, then I guess probably from a numbers standpoint, Riley's told him that there's only 2 checks that he has left.
Yep, and now with Sponge in Adult Spirit, we're all kind of just stepping on each other's toes on what we've seen. Mostly Namaha here giving us the new info.
Although, yeah, well, don't forget that Riley fell off in the big room and didn't have hookshot to get back, so he could not check this part. So if there's something late in Spirit Temple here, this could prove to be fatal.
That is true. And you know, it's our favorite 2 chests. They're
Oh
invisible,
crap!
but-
Yep, they're here. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I didn't even connect the dots on this. Yeah, no, there's no question something's gonna be here. Undoubtedly, every time.
Both hook shots right here.
Don't hold your breath.
Oh.
Oh,
The third
oh,
bomb
another
bag.
bomb bag.
Unbelievable.
We know where all
found
the
them
bomb
all.
bags are.
Still one check left to be had, but man, the stunning part about this is realistically they're not much further than they were about 30 minutes ago. Like, this has been a brutal early game, especially for one that's all dungeons. Like, once it opens up, it's gonna go instantly. Like, the back half of this seed is gonna fly by, but it has been a rough early game.
And there's a wallet.
Ooh.
But did we need anything for...
There was a
That
giant's
always
wallet. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I don't think we actually had any useful items to purchase.
no, and we have all the shops checked as well. So Riley's gaff not getting punished either.
It's
So both
teams
sides
here because
Yeah.
because father-son bonding. Didn't they skip the other hand because of a death?
yeah, so both teams with Little Gaff and Spirit Temple not getting punished. I suppose the one benefit to it is father-son, or I'm sorry,
Okay.
is that AYAYAlpha Gamers does know that they're long shot locked logically for Spirit Temple, which is not bad information to have. But I don't know that it's a huge deal, but oh man, there still hasn't been anything in ice. It
No,
might
it's-
just end up being storms.
We're coming here just for storms.
Unreal.
Does know that fire is hammerlocked. Still could be something in Iron Boots' chest.
Yeah. Still
I think we're
doable.
going to see a double ice cavern coming in on the side of Ayaya here.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Salty is doing some checks here. The question is, will we finally see somebody go for GTG? That's the other spot. It's been in logic for a hot minute.
It has, but I think he's
I
gonna
can't
also
blame
wanna
anybody
get
for
this
not
all.
doing it. But so no, it's just Song of Storms. Wow.
That's unfortunate. But we're going to see here that Riley and Goomba are going to kind of be walking on top of each other. It's just going to be interesting how this ice cavern plays out for them.
But it's gonna work out because it looks like it really looks like we're gonna need this song. So both of them being able to get it quickly here could pay out. Where it does look like Sponge's reverse
Yeah.
wastelanding.
Does he have enough magic to check the wasteland chest, though?
I think there's a magic drop in the room, so even if he doesn't, it should be fine.
All right, well, this is potentially one of the big moments of the seed. This, this decision here to both get Song of Storms early on, and instead Sponge opting to go for Reverse Wasteland. This has pretty big implications, I think, for the rest of the seed.
Yeah,
Like
because
the back half of it's gonna
without,
fly.
GTG without hook shot is not great, but if you find it out here, that could really put father-son ahead.
So yeah, we're gonna immediately see Namaha become a child and pretty much rush to the storms checks as quick as possible.
But how kind of him to unthaw the king there, just for us.
We haven't seen the king have a good seed in a hot minute, so I'm glad that finally he does get a little bit of appreciation for all he does. It can't be easy being a monarch.
Nice divide up here as Goomba opts to go into the room with the skull, while Goomba goes into the room with the X keys.
And we got a clean reverse from Sponge without having any boots or long shot to do it. As he gets kicked all the way out to the valley.
So let's, I guess, kind of take stock here. We have a good chunk of GTG that can be done currently. Depending on keys, I suppose, it could be an even bigger chunk. We have horseback archery.
It's not a lot of GTG unless they do the hook shotless strats.
I'm sure they
'Cause
will.
We
It's
don't even
necessary.
have Song of Time.
Do have silvers, thankfully.
Yeah, only 3 logical checks in GTG, but if there is something good in here, that's going to give them a massive advantage.
Yeah, but that's my concern is like, yeah, you can do hook shotless and get, well, everything but like the toilet. But it's
Yeah, but
not
it's
in
worth
logic. So
It's not, but it's also worth if a hook shot is locked behind that. So if that's your logical long shot, then you're kind of okay with it just because of how much hook shot's going to open up for you in this seed with where you're currently at. Or boomerang. Can you imagine an out of logic boomerang? What that could do for them?
yeah, you get your hammer, you go clear fire, but
Well, then you get to finish Jabu. It's true. There's still some pieces to put together after that, but
yeah, there's a little bit
it's-
to put together, and I just wonder if like getting one out of logic pushes you further out of the logic path. Whereas getting the Storm song here might, you know, more quickly get you on that path to the first hook shot.
yeah. I think the fact that neither hookshot has been found yet might encourage them to kind of break the logic down even further. We'll have to see. This is one of the more interesting seeds that I think we've seen. Of course, the 37 seed monster was really fun in its own way, but like that was just a comedy of errors that continue to get worse and worse.
Oh,
Here
don't
we've seen
worry,
some.
we can keep getting worse here.
Well, fair, but a lot of work is going to have to be done before it reaches that level. But I think this has been at least here in the early game, it's been really interesting to see how I think the teams have divvied up how they've tried to go about this. And yet, once again, as we so often see in these seeds, they kind of end up in the same spot. Is this our first Dompe dig?
Yep, it was a movie.
Dompe could have saved us.
Could have. But now are we gonna get some chickens? Have we seen that yet?
No, I don't believe we've seen. I don't think we've seen a child cack. Period. With no Nocturne, I don't think anybody would have brought it
I don't
in.
think Skull Mask was hinted yet either, so we've got some awful spots.
I
that
think
these hook
I think
shots could
Skull
be.
Mask is dead.
Is it? I saw Skull Kid dead. I didn't catch if we both.
No, it is Skull Kid. Never mind.
Two of the first checks in GTG. Key. Those were two of the logical ones, and as noted before, there aren't too many of those. So, depending on what we find here, major implications.
As expected, it looks like the first into Bottom of the Well is going to be Namaha. I believe there's one more logical check left at this point because he has one key.
Might be stealing Namaha's bottom of the well routing here. This is clean so far.
I believe Goomba did save your Forest Meadow Scrubs. Or no, maybe Riley did. One of them did.
Riley. They did do that.
Yeah, they definitely both went there, so.
All eyes are on Namaha's screen at the moment as we are frantically looking for a hook shot or boomerang at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting that both AYAYA Gamers here have the Song of Storms, but haven't quite gotten into the well yet. Goomba looks like he's following Namaha's path pretty much. with the
Riley needs
Velvet.
some. I'm not sure what was in there.
But
What was in the
Riley,
coffin?
Coffin's a key, so we're gonna have to get that.
Yeah, Riley just messed up the poll.
thankfully he needed to do this check anyway, but
I was having a little trouble. Got on the horse, got off of it again, then got on.
And Riley is going to find the light arrows now for AYAYA, so both teams will have that cleared out.
Alright, we got 5 additional out of the logic checks here.
Yeah, we see Sponge with the hook shot list. If he gets maybe the second hook shot in here.
Can
something
see
in one
here.
of something in one of these three would reveal a ton too, depending on what it is.
Well, isn't terribly far behind Namaha here, maybe like a couple minutes at most. Oh, we had
Ooh.
a shield sighting. That's out of logic.
It's out of logic, but needed.
The biggest quiver and the biggest bomb bag.
In the meantime, Riley is going to go GTG, but I can imagine, like, no one has done. I don't think anyone's bought beans, so, like, if it's an adult fishing, LOL.
I think we'll see the Storms Grotto I called out earlier first, and then GTG.
Oh yeah, that is one good call on that. That's the one thing that father-son bonding couldn't check in this loop. If it's here, some fairly sizable implications.
Oh, Gold Scale is there.
Well, I mean,
That's not nothing.
it's not nothing.
He's gonna check the crate as well.
And yeah, we saw a death down on Sponge's side, which I wasn't paying quite enough attention to that screen, but I don't think he wanted to die there. I think he still had some checks.
We would have had hammer chest, I believe. So, I mean, breaking logic even further.
Meanwhile, the well has yet to give us anything either.
No. This is... I mean... How dirt are we willing to go here?
At what point do we collect chickens and turn in a skull mask? How desperate do we get?
Would not be the first time that the AYAYAlpha Gamers in a seed that we've commentated have needed to turn in Skull Mask for a progression item. Bomb Bag was also on it before, and in logic, way of the hero Bomb Bag, I might add.
So if there's nothing in Bomb of the Well, this does give Father-Son a slight advantage because now Salty doesn't need to get the Song of Storms.
Well, maybe.
Oh, granted, they didn't check every Song of Storms,
There's still
but
grottos, and we did get that gold scale.
Yeah.
So they're not off the hook yet.
I don't believe that.
Shield.
I don't believe that anyone.
Sorry, as we get raided.
Thank you so much for the raid.
Just wanted to point that out real quick.
If you are just joining us from the raid, we are very much in give us anything mode. There has been probably, I mean, what do you guys think now? About almost 40 minutes, I would say, that these teams have kind of been in the same general spot where they've had the same sets of items, they've had the opportunities to do some side dungeons, we got some Song of Storms, but nothing has really come of it so far. And at this point, I can't really say that either team has a decided lead here.
No, it's kind of bounced back and forth, and again, this is going to be execution, what it comes down to, I think.
We're pretty much looking for the hook shot or the boomerang. The boomerang would get us into Fire Temple because the hammer, both teams know that it's the hammer's boomerang lock because it's in Deku Tree, and then there can be more checks, of course, in Fire Temple once they get to that point. The only thing that was found in GTG at the moment was an out of logic mirror shield. And we now know that Bomb of the Well was completely dead, so at this rate, Father-Son and Bond are looking to have a pretty big advantage at the moment just because of that. But again, not all dead with Song of Storms.
Yeah. I think so. What I forget what Storm's grottos we still have left. We've got the Zora's
the river and the frogs, I think are. I think that's it. We've seen Valley, we've seen Forest Meadow, we've seen Kokiri.
Did we see Kokiri?
Yeah, Riley was there. I think when they were getting the Forest Meadow one as well.
Okay.
How many keys have we seen here?
All of them, apparently.
Okay, Pharaohs. That's actually kind of useful here.
Yeah. If you're going deep out of logic, this is certainly a nice thing to find.
But it looks like we got Riley following in the hookshotless GTG play.
Well, I guess the point here is that does Toilet have something? Because I definitely saw Salty have 8 keys, but was there a key on the side where he had to reset?
Well, we need long shot in order to get Song of Time anyway. So at that point, really all the Toilet. Well, you know, as I say that, I completely forgetting that we don't have Dins or Boots. So
Boots at all.
Yeah, never mind. This is maybe more feasible than I wanted to give it credit for, but I don't think we'll be seeing any. If there's anything to be had in Toilet, it's going to be quite a while before it comes into play. So now, I guess the really interesting piece of this is, could anything be behind Mirror Shield? I mean, there is still the chance that an out of logic hookshot shows up here.
Yeah, or did.
Well, I bet we have chickens coming up here from both these teams.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, double chickens. Let's go.
They are almost in sync too, yeah.
Bet you guys are expecting this when you tuned in the stream today. Synced chickens, everyone.
Synced chickens an hour and 18 in, no less.
Oh, but Goomba threw the chicken the wrong way. Ruined the synchronized. Ah.
But it's okay, the ladder jump missed too, so now we're... we have a chance. We have reached.
Yo, a bug bottle. That's not what we want.
So now, just looking at it again, the fact that Riley is going to have a few minutes to catch up to where Sponge was, again, I think that right now it's just going to come down to, is anything in chickens, or is it going to be inside of a Storm's Grotto or a Storm's Check? If it's not something that's locked behind the Storm's Check or behind Gold Scale, then that pretty definitively puts them in a lead. And actually, I think Riley right now is trying to figure out exactly what he needs to do.
Oh, he's trying to get the wall master to appear so we can get the skip.
Oh, to get the skip. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is still a little catching up on Namaha's side. He hasn't done Dodongo's Cavern yet, but we know that'll be only a couple minutes of his time. Actually, now that he's turning in the letter, I think that reminds me, we didn't check the Storm's Grotto up on the trail either.
On Death Mountain Trail?
I don't think we've seen that one. So we have river and trail.
He might just be turning it in for Skull Mass.
I don't think he's going up there now. He's turning it in for to start the mask, but it just reminded me of another
Yeah, so
storm.
We have Mask left. We have Big Pole left. Like, what other big checks do we have here? We don't have Lens, so I don't think we can do the treasure game.
No one's seen a lens, so it's looking like either one of these storms checks, chickens, or Skull Mask, or Adult Lake. They may need
buy a bean and go for Adult Lake. Yep, nothing on chickens. Wow.
Yeah, so we check the river and we buy a bean. That's what we're doing.
Yep, Goomba's gonna be heading right that way. Very nice routing that this just becomes such a natural like sequence of moves to make here, but this is kind of a feels bad for father-son bonding here, I think.
Yamahas are right behind. They're going to be doing the same things here.
Yeah, and Riley has the mirror shield as well. Look at that thing.
Beautiful.
And again, for those just tuning in, we have seen the hammer. It is behind the bomb room in Deku Tree, so it is boomerang locked. Very early on in the game. This is an all dungeons seed because Nocturne is locked behind the Ocarina of Time, so even though fire is a stone, it is necessary to go there.
We also don't have iron boots, nor do we have knowledge of iron boots. So there's still quite a bit to get before we can even get Nocturne.
Well, it's not the Storm's Grotto. We go forward.
Well, they gotta buy a bean for adult fishing now.
Yeah, at this point, for each team, like, you've got to be concerned that you're behind.
Yeah, I'm betting both teams think they're behind at this point. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, of course, us with hindsight know exactly how similar their routes have been thus far.
And, like, the fact that we've already been up this river a few times on both sides, you know, if you're looking at this, you know, you could be like, the other team had to have bought a bean when they walked up here, right? They had to have planted it. If it's there, we're behind. So both teams here are like, they're sweating.
Frogs in the river is dead. I think Namaha still has to go up the river here.
And Riley's getting the checks up here by the hammer that we didn't see before, it looks like. But didn't pay out.
Why is Goomba not planting the bean? Okay, cool.
Where is Goomba going?
Yeah, I think
they
Sponge
done-
is doing polls here, so this is gonna be another check we haven't seen.
Have they not done Dante? What's he? Have they not done Bomb Shoe Bowling? I thought Riley did that earlier.
I think they missed it.
They may have. No, he's
Oh, no,
getting the-
duh.
Oh,
Oh,
just
crap.
are masks.
We completely forgot.
You know, forgot or just wanted to ignore it.
Not too dissimilar.
No,
Sponge doing
they're gonna make the
pose.
mask play.
This is another interesting option because remember, Riley bailed on doing those after missing it the first time.
Yeah, if this is something, then that's gonna really bite them in the foot.
Well, we're running out of checks,
Yeah,
so
they're running out of checks, so they're gonna come to this soon if it's not there though.
They're bailed out too.
wow. This is again. If that, like, we have to again reiterate, if there's nothing in the Storms Grottos and that was a progression item, that would have
What?
been such a big advantage.
But what if it's the gold scale to dive in the lab to get your first hook shot?
Well, at this point, that's not looking too unlikely.
Do you think we'll see Riley fall down into the water and hopefully check that for us?
I'd hope so. Someone's got to find it at some point soon, right? Oh, wait, no. We're going to see the final Song of Storms check.
Ah, yes. No. Goomba's going up there, it looks like.
Riley's gonna get his furores as well.
Yep. Now we're almost fully done with GTG. The odds we're coming back for Toilet very slim.
Gas is still playing, by the way. We're this is a 10.
The whole.
Well, it's a 10-hour version, so we're just about 90 minutes into it.
I'm pretty sure we got some commentators bias here, considering that Faust and Bonding has that as their team name.
Hey, I'm not biased. Good music is good music.
I don't think we've seen this check yet. Surya song.
No, we did. We
did,
saw that.
yeah.
Okay, we.
All right, here it is. What do we got?
Nothing.
Wow.
What the frick? Where is things?
Adult Lake. One way or
And now-
another.
Why is Sponge doing Ice Cavern now? Or no, he's doing Jabu. I presume he go to Ice Cavern.
Yeah, they're probably scared that it's a Storm's check at this point.
Yeah.
And then
they-
here's another check we haven't seen. I think it's a bloopy though.
Yeah, Riley just going for the hint, but he's finally gonna. We're finally gonna get to see the lake. We're finally gonna get to see Skull Mask. So these are the two. These are like how many? If it's not these
We've got
two,
like
what
4
checks are left?
We have
I
like
was gonna
4 left.
say.
We've got diving
Bolts.
in the lab. We've got above the lab. We've got adult fishing. We've got Skull Mask. I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Without Boomerang or both hook shots. So yeah, Riley's gonna do lab dive here. Umo's gonna have to do the other 3. Riley's probably gonna want to do pose at some point because he doesn't know. So he's probably gonna do pose after this.
All right, this is the big one. This is the check that really decides how hurt father-son bonding is going to be by not getting the double storms.
It's in the
There
lab.
it is.
The hook shot, and there we go.
Oh,
Gold
my
scale
goodness.
necessary.
You have
This
to
is-
go to Ice, get Song of Storms, go to Gerudo Valley, get your gold scale, dive in the lab.
Now, did Namaha get gold scale?
Not yet. I
So
don't think anyone with
no.
Father Son is.
no,
gone there yet. They
and so
have to be
I
close, but
yeah, they're running out of stuff. But I just tuned into it to hear Riley's trademark laugh and say, "I'm really happy with that location. This has to be good for us."
and it's
So-
not
Yeah,
full mask
he-
for the other. Yeah, so now you see Riley quick to forest. This opens up the whole world for them.
It does, and like we said earlier, maybe the little advantage in the opening that, in terms of progression and dirt checks that were done for Team Father Son bonding, that's all gone now. There's no checks left. At this point, it's just gonna really, really be a bummer for them when they eventually do realize they both have to get Song of Storms, and man.
Yeah, this firmly puts Ayaya in the lead right now. Sponge is going to have to go to Ice, get the song. Namaha still has to beat Dodongo's Cavern. And they have to find the
Have
gold
to find
scale
a
here
gold
too.
scale.
They
And
have-
so
Namaha will
what
get to
happened?
it soon, but
So what happened with Namaha with the gold when he was in GTG? Or was that Sponge in GTG without storms? That's what happened, right?
yeah,
Sponge
it
was
was
in GTG without storms.
it was Sponge who went to GTG, didn't have storms, so they have yet to get out to Gerudo Valley with the Song of Storms. Namaha here doing all of the child, well, river, skull mask, clearing this out first, which, from their side, it makes sense. You're not going to go back adult and get the valley storms before you do all of this. But
Riley's going to opt to finish Spirit Temple for some reason.
Yeah, that's right, because he does have. He did get Mirror Shield with that hook shotless trip through, so.
I'm pretty sure he only wanted to do Forest just so he could do the Pharaoh's Orb.
yeah, I mean, they still have to clear forest here sooner or later, so Spirit Forest, either way. We do still need quite a few items, so the race is far from over.
Far from over, but we can't, ignore the advantage that Ayaya has right now.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that there's not really room for much variance at this point, I don't think. Especially on the side of AYAYAlpha Gamers, they both did the earlier checks. They've already dipped in Jabu, so they know what's there. So I think at this point, the only thing that could really shift their game plan too much would probably just be an awkward positioning of an item inside of maybe Deep Fire or something. But even then, if they get Boomerang in one of these next few checks, I'm not sure that you can turn down going Deep Fire anyway, so.
Twitch chat died for me. I'm not sure what happened to it, but I guess we'll keep continuing on here regardless. This is the item Riley missed earlier, so he's gonna breathe a sigh of relief that was only a key.
Now, although, does Riley know where the boss key is?
He should.
He should.
They saw it. Yeah, they should know it's on the skull on the child climb.
Okay.
So I think it was Goomba who saw it, and then because they got the chest on the hand, whereas
That's right, they did get the chest on the hand, so yeah. They'll know that pretty quick.
Yeah.
What's
this
gonna
is
be
just-
What's gonna be interesting is if father-son does get the other hook shot or the boomerang at one of these checks here in Lake Hylia, because that's still gonna keep them in the game.
Oh yeah, I didn't even consider that. That'll keep them in the game, but now that a hook shot, yeah, I guess if the hook shot was there, that would keep them in the game. Man, can you imagine that? That would give them progression for a little bit, but they'll still both have to. Well, no, I guess if that hook shot leads to iron boots, maybe they won't get punished. That is the thing that could keep the game alive for them. Good call.
The issue is though is that Sponge still needs to either have irons at that, or either have songs or irons. Salt fishing. Oh, I finally saw a post in chat, so maybe it's back up. Hooray, it's back up. Well, the sad thing is we couldn't see the chat reaction when the hook shot was found, but I'm presuming it was pretty nice. This was one of those, and I quote Spike Vegeta, where the frick is the hook shot kind of seeds, you know?
That's not what that quote was. So interesting note here that we're gonna be seeing some.
We got a
GTG.
gold gauntlet. We got a gold gauntlet sighting.
Oh,
in
on
fishing.
adult fishing. Oh, oh wow.
This still isn't over for them. I think there's still there still could be things in behind gold gauntlets. Like they're gonna rush that right away.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's think about how little they actually need. They just need their out of logic an out of logic hook shot. Well, which I guess might not actually be out of logic since golds are there, but all they need is another hook shot and iron boots to show up anywhere. We already know that the first hook shot is going to open up a ton of checks. If it happens to be iron boots, they're going to gain all of that time back.
So they're gonna gain back, but they still have to go to this Valley Storms Grotto. Unless
Not
they
necessarily
find irons.
if they find hook shot and irons.
They have to
then
find
they
the hook
don't
shot
need
and
it.
irons, or they'll still have to at least go to the diving part, I guess.
Namaha's gonna be stepping out to get the light arrows quick. Well, that's not the other hook shot, that's for sure.
People in chat saying, it's Sponge we're talking about. He's going to get bailed out somehow. Meanwhile, Goomba here to go ahead, like we said earlier, and pick up what's needed. Get the mirror shields.
Okay, so even if gold gauntlets aren't here, Namaha is going to get the scrubs here. So it's not completely over for them yet. They found it in a reasonable amount of time, but they're definitely behind.
Well, again, it really does depend now on what is
Depends on if
inside of this.
Sponge- Yeah, if Sponge finds something, then he's fine. But if he doesn't, then, you know, Namaha's gonna say, hey, you gotta go to Ice Cavern now.
Yeah, and you have to imagine that call's going to be made pretty quickly.
Oh,
There's
they got the hover!
But that doesn't help, though.
It doesn't help.
We need something to keep him from going to ice.
I tuned into their comms there. They got hovers. What does it open up? Nothing. Oh.
Yeah.
They're like Gerudo rooftop. That's what they came up with there.
I mean, they're not wrong.
One more check in here.
One check, yeah. I mean, this does mean that Riley and Goomba will need to do adult fishing, get the golds, come here for hovers.
Goomba is right there, so I feel like...
Yeah, it looks like that's just the key.
Oh,
so...
that's it. That's GG. Necessarily good.
I mean, Namaha's here, gonna do the dive, get the hook shot, and say, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, I've already got their comms on here. I'm even gonna pause the music to hear this.
Dude, if they found hookshot in Light Trial, that would have been insane. Well, they're not a fan of that.
Yep, they're not happy about that one.
What? No great laughter like Riley had.
No, they're actually taking it in pretty good stride here. Like they are much less salty about this than I would be. That's for sure.
No, you have to just laugh it off at this point and be like, "What the heck?"
Oh man, this is a beautiful seed. Congrats here to J-Bone. I never thought that we would like come to regret anything as much as we do a star seed, but
Goomba just found the golds.
Yeah, so they kept the advantage.
Wait,
but
did Riley just die to Twin Rova?
Riley died on Twin Rova!
sure did. Semifinals, by the way.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, that puts him so far back. This is a race because of that, I think.
Yeah, they're still in the lead, but
It's still in the lead, but there's a chance.
there is indeed a chance.
This is the second time Riley has thrown in Spear Temple, by the way. Like, Namaha died to the Iron Knuckle, but that didn't cost nearly as much time as both of Riley's mess-ups.
Wait, does Riley actually know a way to make this work?
Yeah, you just shoot the bottom.
Yeah, you can just do this.
Why didn't nobody tell me this?
Nine? What else don't you know about Zooters?
Next, you're gonna tell me that you can two-cycle King Dodongo. That's not true at all.
No, that's just crazy talk.
Yeah, that's crazy talk. The long shot is in Forest. So it was hookshot locked.
Yeah.
It was, in fact, hookshot locked. The first one was through that whole mess.
And then you just get the second one that easily. Well, we did.
are in Light Trial.
Yep. And AYAYAlpha Gamers does have it, so they are going to again be in a pretty alright spot, provided that Riley takes care of business this time. But Twin Rova gonna Twin
dying
Rova.
to Twin Rova while having double defense.
Yeah,
Top 4, by the way.
Adult fishing. So what do we still need here? We need a boomerang. We need Din's Fire.
We need irons.
Well, not necessarily. We have Gold Scale.
Well, it depends on the placement of the boss key.
Depending on the, But we're getting down to it now.
Yeah, we did say that the back half of this was going to be a pretty quick sprint. So,
You know, just like a 6 dungeon sprint, easy.
It's kind of crazy too, and all that progression and all that mess. Namaha was never able to find time to go back and do DC either. There were just so many checks that had to be done that ended up not paying out that I completely forgot.
That's right. Namaha never did the dongos. Not that it costs that much time to just bump through with the bomb shoe strap, but like seriously.
And now Aya has their long shot.
Wait, time out. Did either team end up actually buying the Big Oron sword?
No.
We took that so for granted, and nobody did it. Okay, Riley does get the 1 cycle, so some time lost, but it could have been worse. Let's see. Did Goomba find the long shot already? I missed the location of it.
He
did?
has it.
Okay, so then you think we're gonna see double forest from them?
I feel like they could beat Forest. Well, I don't know.
To get it out of the way. Well, I mean, they know they need their long shot, so.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing
fire
else
yet.
they can really do.
Yeah, I think Riley will just come over.
Yeah,
Goomba
still needing
far enough
boomerang. Yeah, far enough ahead, they'll be able to map out a little bit of it there. And I think that's going to be the point where you really see the time advantage going to be laid out pretty comfortably in front of you here. Is AYAYAlpha is going to have both of their runners inside, and we'll just have to see how many minutes behind it's going to be. Now, to his credit, Sponge did set his furores in GTG, so it is not going to take him long to get up to this, but he does still have to go to Lake, and you know, might be a couple minutes before he's able to catch up with the rest.
Triple Forest, by the way.
Well, it's going to be Quad Forest here in a minute, so.
Everyone's favorite part of the stream.
And it happens every time. So yeah, I guess in a sense, Riley's death there did kind of... If Riley hadn't died there and was able to get through that cleanly, he'd probably be neck and neck with Goomba at this point. Maybe even a little bit... Maybe not ahead, but he would be pretty well on top of him there, so... Execution.
Yes, Shenny, one of our runners did in fact unthaw the boy, even though it was dead.
Yeah, we knew it was dead too, so...
I'm pretty sure
they might
both
have
teams
gone.
unthawed. Despite knowing it was dead.
Did Riley miss that?
Well, yeah, what happened to Riley there? Okay, there we go.
Come on,
Trying to
Riley!
get a cheeky angle on that eye shot, and
Hold it together, man. Come on, Riley. Gonna be back to the lab again with with all this Twin Rova fighting. Actually, you know, Angle, we can actually say back to the lab again right now here for Sponge.
oh no, back to the lab again. Messed up. Messed up making this seed. What a mess.
Oh, hold on. Brad just said, I hope they don't talk about my Twin Rover in the interview. So that's going to be absolutely the first thing we're bringing up. No,
Oh, yeah.
No one say that we heard that. No one say that we heard that.
Actually, to talk a bit about what Riley's thoughts were on this seed ahead of time, I did ask him, Riley, any thoughts before your match today? And Riley's response was, good question, lol. And that was all we got out of him today. So I know you all live for Riley's quick hitting one-liners and, you know, thinly veiled trash talk, but This one's a puzzle to me. I'm gonna be honest.
You know, I think maybe having seen the seed now, he mistook your question. He thought you were saying, "Hey Riley, where do you think the first hook shot will be?" Because that was a good question, though.
That it was.
Oh, I got the gift sub. Thanks, Purple.
Purple, dropping the gift subs.
4 runners, 4 subs. Everybody, sit back and enjoy Quad Forest. Really not much we can add to this one, guys.
I will gladly take the gift sub. Thank you very much, Purple. All right, so I have got a great setup for bringing up Riley's death to Twinrova, first of all. So I'll take the lead in the
We'll let
post
you
game
handle
interview
that
if you
one.
don't mind.
We always end up with Quad Forest. And you know, we might get Quad Jabu later, so
Ooh, that'll
there's
be
more to look
fun.
forward to. And Quad
Honestly,
Shadow.
I was gonna say at
Quad
this
fire.
point, there's a better than average chance we might get quad of a few dungeons here. The only saving grace to this one is the fact that Namaha still has not done DC, so he'll have to step out and do that before he can get his his hover boots. But
He has to do that, but AYAYA still has to go to the White Trowel. They have yet to...
no, the Goomba did it.
Did Goomba do it?
Yep.
Oh, maybe that was while I stepped out.
No, he
I don't-
doesn't, because I don't see the hovers on
Yeah, I
his
didn't think, unless...
Did he not? So he just got golds, but he didn't go there.
Yeah, he got golds, and then...
He never went there. Only Salty did.
Yeah, so,
Interesting.
so they don't have the knowledge of hovers yet.
And they
No.
realistically, they don't need to.
No, I mean, they'll get it soon, but...
Yeah. Well, we also don't have dins yet, so
As long as none of these teams have dins, that doesn't matter.
right. Chudos,
Well-
why did you stop running Forest Temple?
Because it did mean things to me.
Do the commentators read chat? Good question, lol. That's what Riley was referring to. I found it.
I'm gonna continue eating my lunch here.
We should just change the background music to gas, gas, gas at this point. Because Fathers on Botting need it if they want to win. I believe Shoot the Sun is dead, J-Bone.
Yes, I believe we had a hint on that one. So where do we go coming out of Forest? Like, logically, are we going to get another item in here? Because water's still out of logic. Fire's still... We can't get the hammer. We don't have the boomerang yet.
And everything that's necessary to finish this, we know that Boots can't be in Shadow Temple, Boomerang can't be in Shadow Temple. So Shadow Temple's gonna be... I mean, it has to be completely dead, right? We are, because we already have lights and we already have magic.
Could have irons, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think it could have irons, but that's it.
But we need our ring to get the hammer, which we need to beat to get our Nocturne.
Right. So I guess it could. Yeah, you're right. It could. I had mixed up there whether or not water was a stone dungeon. It is not. So
Yeah, but at most it's irons, otherwise Shadow's gonna be barren.
Sling Hat's good point. As long as Shadow's a medallion, it has nothing. But when it's a stone, it has everything under the sun.
So, while we have a moment, I would just like to remind chat that this is only game 1 of a 3-game match, because we are in the semis. So, regardless of who ends up winning today, we will have another game between these two next Saturday, which I hope you're all looking forward to after this crazy seed.
Yep, so this Saturday, October 3rd, I need to get the time pulled up here, but basically Saturday, October 3rd is the game, and then if game 3 is necessary, then Sunday, October 4th will be the 3rd game, so. Another weekend full of fun coming up, potentially.
Yep, and then we still have our other semi-final match featuring what are Raikaro and Barrel calling themselves these days?
I don't even know anymore.
Wait, hold on,
How
let
many
me-
times are they? How many? Well, they've changed their name like a zillion times.
I was gonna say we've got Tudos, your favorite name, Le Club du Désert, and then King Zora Go Burr. So
Yeah, but that's not what they're called apparently. Well,
Yeah,
I guess we'll find
Captain
out.
Tuna Spice, I think, is still.
how do you change your name in the middle of a tournament, man?
Well, don't ask me. Ask them.
That sounds like something SRL Splatoon would have done back in the day.
But yeah, the Captain Tuna Spice and the Club du Dessert will also have a 3-game matchup coming up. I believe they still need to schedule. I know at least some of them have been moving and dealing with some real life stuff, so hopefully they'll get that sorted out soon, and once this semi-final matchup gets done next weekend, we can bring out the second matchup.
Good news about Quad Forest is that Forest is over pretty quickly. You won't need to deal with multiple people going to Forest at different times.
And it is, I'm glad, Engel, that you brought up the question of, like, what are we going to see after this? Because, we said that it was going to be fairly straightforward but this is the part of the seed where I think there is a bit of variance to it, and that the teams are kind of going to get to make their decision. Goomba, on the side of AYAYAlpha Gamers, Goomba could very, very reasonably decide to go and finish Spirit Temple to get it out of the way, while Riley goes and pushes Water Temple.
Well, I think honestly here they're going to push Gold Gauntlets because that's the in logic play for them. It's not it's not going to progress them a ton outside of hovers. But then we need some kind of logic here. Like, you can.
There's the boomerang.
There's the logic. That's what I thought. And I was thinking, like, we had to find something here, or like there's like almost no checks left for in logic.
Right. Well, because that's right. Water Temple, you can't do a ton of Water Temple in Water Temple with the scale.
Logically, you can't do any under these settings with Gold Scale. Out of logic, they could do all but Central Pillar. But again, it's like we're so far into this with so few in logic checks. Like, it was almost assured that Phantom Gander was going to have something there.
Even though it seems kind of close here, Namaha is behind a dungeon. And of course, Salty's in last place in Forest here.
Well, they're also behind on Spirit as well,
Yeah,
or at least to Riley. Riley's, I believe, the only one who's completed it. But
Let's see if Riley has better luck this time than against his last boss.
He's better than me at this one. But finding the boomerang opens up pretty much everything now. You can get the hammer and beat Jabu.
Yeah. I mean, this gives you... I mean, at this point, it's just Iron Boots left. Yeah.
It's just...
I just heard them say, I'm
off
pretty
the
sure...
rails.
I just heard from Riley's stream, he's like, how much wrong about Quad Force is going on right now, and then they say I wouldn't doubt it. They knew, dude.
Yeah, you know, and that's the other kind of thing about this too, is like, it's always stunning to me how good of a grasp these really strong runners have on what the other team is doing too. Like, because every time we do one of these like post-game interviews or anything of that nature, there's always like a moment where they'll be talking with each other, and then they'll like immediately guess where the other team was at a certain part. And it's just, it goes to show that they have such a great understanding of the game and the way it progresses.
Yeah, and it just shows how skilled all 4 of these guys are, because under this current seed where you basically checked everything to this point, to have them all like in forest at the same time is just showing you how good they are and how close this matchup is. So I could easily see this going to a 3-game set.
Mm-hmm. So I suppose really the only wrinkle left in this is how long it takes AYAYAlpha to get their hovers. That's really the only piece of this puzzle left, I think, that's still kind of up in the air.
Well, no, we still have Dins. We don't know where that is.
Oh, that's right, Dins. Dins was the other thing.
And
Dins and hopefully
probably
not
Irons.
Probably not, but maybe. But yes, to Gav, this was Bottleneck Central. For anyone else just joining, you had to go get Song of Storms in the Ice Cavern, go out to Gerudo Valley, get your gold scale on the Storms Grotto, dive in the lab to get your first hook shot.
Oh, Sponge's Phantom Ganon fight there was beautiful. That's a lot of time he made up.
The one cycle strat is so good.
Yeah, and then, I mean, that's the cleanest I think I've ever seen it executed inside of a race. Like, that alone might have been almost a minute that he made up. Because I know Riley had a reasonably good Phantom Ganon fight, but Goomba's took a little minute. We did say that it was going to be Execution Central and that gas did need to be hit maybe 3 times. But it's being done so far. Like, Execution Central so far.
Yeah, minus the couple of deaths, but...
Won't be
we'll talk
surprised
about
if we
those.
see Dins or Irons pop up at the end of Jabu here.
Yeah, I mean, logically, I think it's Jabu or Fire where we're going to find them unless we find the Iron Boots.
I don't think it's gonna be Quad Jabu because I think. Oh no, yeah, it's gonna be Quad Jabu.
No, it's Sponge is going.
Yeah, because he said it, I believe.
Oh, he's gonna get hammered in Ferror, so that's a good idea then.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, why didn't you just go Spirit? That makes sense.
Yeah, went up there to set it, so that's going to be even more time that's made up now. Man, clutch Ferrors. That Ferrors made it so much easier to very quickly get his gold scale, and now it's going to save him a lot of time on this whole cycle as well. He's going to be one of the first to get his hammer. Well, I mean, he's going to be the first to get his hammer, but I think he's going to make up even more time on this. He might actually come out ahead of time on this, too, depending on how his Jabu run goes.
Jabu otherwise here hasn't really been much of anything.
I guess the only other piece of this that's still left that can make this totally evil is if Dins is in toilet. That's still doable, right?
Now that would be interesting.
Interesting isn't the word I'd use for it.
Yeah, as chat's pointing out, this has been some very good execution and routing from father-son bonding on this whole forest Jabu section. If they hadn't, you know, split up the ice cavern, they could have been in the lead here from this.
I mean, this is what you expect at this stage. Top 4.
I certainly expect Quad Forest, Quad Jabu in my top 4 matchups, and that we're getting it.
Yeah.
Namaha making sure to keep 3 Deku sticks for this fight, so he doesn't have to throw any pots.
I'm talking about sync. Look at how close Goomba and Riley are.
And Sponge is pretty close to being behind them as well. Oh, Namaha mess up Baronade.
Triple big Octo cutscene.
Didn't know you could hit him with the boomerang at that angle. That was interesting.
Please. What's that?
That was just a heart piece on Baronade, so nothing in Jabu means we're probably just heading out to fire.
Both teams do know what the Check of Legends is, so at this point I'm really interested to see how these teams opt to split up Fire Temple, provided that we do end up seeing what we thought we would.
And, sorry, you see Sponge getting the box skip there. Cutting ahead of Riley and Goomba a little.
Sponge has really had a great performance here. This definitely a good one to watch out for if you're watching this back.
Oof. And then as we say that, a little bump on Baronade. Not a huge time loss. Oh, ho, ho. Beautiful.
Goomba didn't get the nut on the jellyfish.
Gets the clean angle though.
Oh, he's getting smacked around.
And all these little gaps are starting to add up too. I know, again, for those of you just joining us, Father-Son Bonding still has some cleanup work to do in order to catch up on a few pieces. Namaha doesn't have his Mirror Shield. Neither one of them has finished Spirit. Namaha still has to do DC. So, still some work to be done there. And he'll need to get his hovers, too, after he does DC. So, and they still have a little bit to do in order to fully catch up, but this is looking a lot closer than it was, I don't know, maybe 20 or so minutes ago when it seemed like it was... I mean, Dudos, you even said GG, simply because we didn't think they could make up the time that was lost by not going double ice to get Song of Storms. And now, at the very least, you can see on your screen just how close these teams are. It's almost neck and neck.
And I just gotta say it again because I think it needs to be mentioned. Like, hats off to Sponge for his performance this race. Like, it's been like he's made up so much time despite being the furthest behind, just from having to do ice carry. It's pretty nice watch. Like, you know, seeing all the strategies he's been doing, just nailing everyone one after another.
Now, here's something interesting too. Riley and Goomba haven't checked Light Trowel, so they don't have hovers. Will they go and, say, clear out fire and water first? If so, they could be wasting time here. Or they could potentially go to some of these hammer checks that we haven't seen. Dins could still be in a weird spot like Gerudo Valley Hammer or...
Well, speaking of weird spot, we're about to see some checks right here that are in weird spot. This is going to be Goron City Scrubs, which we have not seen yet because we never had hookshot at this point. There's Dins! Oh,
wow.
This is going to be a race. That's out of the way.
That's a little out of the way, yeah. That's...
And I mean, he came. Of course, it's nice to route these in when you're here checking Fire Temple, but realistically, Namaha had a lot to do up here, and this became a very easy decision for him to make and check. So, all right, now with hovers being where they are, with Dins being there, I agree with you guys. This is a lot more of a race than it looked like a little bit ago.
But now, like, when does AYAYA go back and check those checks there? This is going to be very interesting.
So I guess since this is going to be a pretty wicked next little bit, I guess the questions still remaining are, one just got answered here. It's going to be an immediate rush to catch up and make some progression up in the dungeons here by Namaha, but when does Namaha go to GTG to go and get the Mirror Shield? That's going to be a pretty key part here, and that's going to take a little time. And then when does AYAYalpha make those checks? The checks that we talked about just a little bit ago in order to get their hovers and also to find Dins. And they might spend a lot of time deep in this temple, and if they full clear this and nothing's here, thinking that maybe it's Dins, it could be an astronomical time loss.
Yeah, Riley going straight into fire, not checking some of those outside checks in city.
They're probably not going to be seeing gold gauntlets for a while, or they're not going to be seeing Light Trail for a while here, because I presume Goomba is going to be full clearing the Spirit Temple.
Yeah, this is actually anybody's game now, just from that Dins.
I want you to know the Gas, Gas, Gas is still playing, and it is very fitting at this point. There are not many lyrics to this song either, I want to add. You kind of know in the first 30 seconds what you're getting.
Now, if Riley goes deep fire here and he finds Iron's deep fire, and Irons are required for Water Temple. Like, that's gonna be a big advantage there. But like,
could be, but the odds they're required is so low.
Yeah, long shot plus gold scale is.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, again though, they don't. they don't yet know how unnecessary deep fire is at this point. Like, really, with the information we have, we know that as long as the boss key isn't in Central Pillar, all the items that are necessary have been found by one of the teams, really. I think that is the big advantage that father-son bonding has right now, is they know where all of the items that they need to beat the game, unless they have to go through Central Pillar are.
Yeah, I guess here, if you're AYAYA, you just want the boss key to be late so that you're just clearing this anyway.
Yeah, I can imagine that one of these two will go to Water Temple after they beat the dungeon here.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that's where Sponge heads right after this. That was the latest I've ever seen a shield come out and still reflect from Twin Roba. I imagine if Riley does get through Fire Temple here, I feel like he has to bail and go Water Temple at that point.
Well, I hope for Riley, if he comes out of fire, he checks everything in Crater City.
Yeah, I think it'll depend on how quickly he gets out of fire in relation to when Goomba gets there. Goomba's still got a bit to go.
I think there's a decent chance he does, because there's 7 checks after coming out of here, which is Fairy, and you got the Hammer Scrubs, and then you got the other Scrubs in Grand City. So I feel like Riley will check the Grand City Scrubs.
Yeah, a lot of checks since last time.
So I think the only downfall is, does he do all fire? Just...
Yeah. And again, it also depends on how deep he gets before the boss key is. Like, I think that's kind of the big thing here. If it's a deep boss key, then, like Engel said earlier, that's really, really what AYAYAlpha Gamers is hoping for.
Yeah, I think that's what you need, because then, father-son bonding is going to have to go through the whole temple as well. Otherwise, they know that they're just playing for boss key. But we've gotten up to the lower maze so far with nothing. So we're at least halfway through. And alternatively, Riley could just set Pharaohs up here and save it.
So we're going to see our first dive into Water Temple, it looks like. And it is going to be Sponge, so I believe chat called it and we talked about it as well. This is probably the right play, because at the worst case scenario, you know whether or not you're in go mode. And that is something that they can say that father-son bonding cannot at this point.
Yeah, so we're going to see... There's one thing that hurts not having irons, is that you know that the river is dead. So that's 2 of the checks that aren't going to have your boss key. which makes it, just a little more
Oh,
likely.
there's the lens. Lens is on the dungeon map chest, I believe that is.
And I think at this point, all eyes probably on the bottom left screen where Sponge is located, at least on my overlay, hopefully yours. Really, the seed's kind of in his hands right now. And not that he has any control over where it is, but like...
If you're rooting for father-son bonding, you want to see that boss key right now. And if you're rooting for AYAYA, you're saying, hold on a little.
Gotta hope it's in Central Pillar, really. Riley having a pretty nice fire temple otherwise.
Yeah, it's been a clean fire temple, and
double magic.
Still no... Okay, yeah, he's setting it.
Oh, he's gonna warp right away. Because the warp point's up top. 3 stack didn't have anything for us in Water Temple.
Riley's certainly found a lot of items in fire so far. I haven't been able to keep count, but I don't think there's many more to be had in deep fire here.
I can't quite remember the key count. It's like 3 or 4. He finds another key here. You're a new Zuru player. This is why it's very important that you keep track of your keys in temples like Fire Temple. Otherwise, you might be doing all those late game checks for nothing.
There's a key. Meanwhile, Goomba with a pretty reasonably clean spirit temple. It's going to put them at a pretty good spot. And this is what we talked about, where now his job, I think, becomes a little interesting because Riley's still with no boss key in Fire Temple. Not too many checks left for him.
He's gonna do the safety affairs just in case, or not. Not sure what was happening here.
It looked like he dispelled it. I'm not sure what he's going for.
Maybe in case that jump missed.
Yeah, that's what we thought, and then it looked like he dispelled it anyway.
And maybe he felt more confident than he thought originally.
Oh,
so now Goomba's going
by the skull again.
So Goomba's going to check Light Trial, it looks like, which is a pretty logical play.
What?
Riley.
Oh, that's
Riley.
Unfortunate, to say the least. But yeah, so I think this is the perfect time to check it for Goomba, because again, they now have the tools to do a lot more on this than they did originally. And of course, we know they're going to get their hovers here, so that's going to be a pretty big relief to them, I'm certain.
This is actually very good that the boss key is deep fire, because there's no way that Father-Son bonding dissolve Fire Temple.
Oh, we found it.
So now he's already up here.
That was a nice.
There's a boss
job.
key. There's a boss key.
Yeah, that was a nice job by Sponge in the dragon room there without irons getting that easily. And he's got the boss key, so we don't need irons.
Well,
And Riley's going further, so this is a bit of a
This is
time
gonna
waste.
be a waste of like 2 or 3 minutes.
yep. So father-son bonding in go mode right now. They know where everything is at, or at the very least, they know that all they have to do is beat the dungeons at this point. So I think now it does just kind of come down to sheer execution and where AYAYAlpha Gamers makes these checks. Because, like we said, if Riley just naturally goes and checks Goron City after this, it's not going to be a huge time loss.
But it is a couple minutes, which really
they don't have a
gap here.
It is. Oh, but Sponge, after such a clean run, lets Morpha get away.
Messed it up.
So, giving a little time back here, it looks like. Not much. It's Morpha. There's only so much time you can give back on Morpha, but every little minute counts here. This is going to be very, very close all the way to the end. And Riley does not yet have his golds either, so see if that comes into play anytime soon.
Yeah, Riley's still gonna have to go fishing and get the hovers.
Yeah, after all that great performance by Sponge earlier, he messes up Morpha. He's human, guys.
Little known fact. All right, so Riley's done all he needs to here. He's gonna make the jump down here, clean this up. And like we said, a pretty solid Fire Temple execution-wise, but again, this time loss is gonna potentially come back to bite him. So now, where does Goomba head? I think that's one of the real big deciding points now, is where he opts to go after he's finished with his business in Ganon's. If he ends up going Water Temple, that really changes the game for them, because we're all kind of assuming at this point that Riley's going to knock out the checks in Goron City. So I think whether or not he knows it, Goomba's kind of holding the seat in his hands right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping Riley will get everything in city. But again, he's probably gonna waste a little time doing the hammer and fairy in the cavern first, I would imagine.
I believe that Goomba did... Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, in the cavern, never mind. Yeah, he'll waste some time doing that. But at the very least, now they know that they're really potentially only looking for one item, so that probably eases it up a little bit. And Goomba's gonna go fire.
Does he go straight in as well? He does.
Quad Fire Temple. So this is 3 quad dungeons in this race so far.
Oh, and Riley didn't get the cleanest of one cycles there either. It's not going to be a terrible fight, but again, every little bit.
And Namaha is not far behind in finding the boss key here.
No, I would say at this point, it's pretty clearly in father-son bondings. I would say it's their seed to lose right now.
All eyes are on Riley, though. Is he going to go to Goron City here? I presume he does, but I mean, you never know. Like, what if he's like, oh, I better go to Water Temple right now?
Right.
Yeah, he
Pins
could
is
easily...
on Goron Scrubs.
It is on Goron Scrubs, and the other thing, again, he's probably going to want to knock those... Well, See, this is the tricky part, because they know where golds is, and they know they need golds. He might be He might be in a hurry to go and get his golds. So
I mean, he could go to map out water for Goomba.
yeah, there's lots of potential missteps here. Let's see what he does. Bottom right screen.
Well, he hasn't immediately warped, so...
All right, it looks like he is going to check the checks, which we assumed this was going to happen.
Yeah, but again, he's doing the
here, then
cavern
the
ones
berries. Yep, these
So this is-
3 here, the ferry, and then Goron City.
So between a little bit extra in fire, a little bit extra in the cavern here, you know, it's, 3-4 minutes that you just let the other team catch right back up on you.
Yeah, and
Uh-oh, Namaha. Uh-oh, you better hurry to those ferries.
He's fine.
yeah, don't miss that jump.
I mean, he's not fine, but
Ferry, it's gonna fly away. He's gonna die. Why did we? Okay, whatever.
he dies either way. Even if
He got it. He got it. Everything's fine. He got it.
Ooh. The 1
This is
second.
this is still. I mean, you don't have a lot of room to wiggle here.
He's fine. He's got. Does he have bomb choose, or is he gonna go bomb strat?
All right, Riley's going back to Goron City, which means unless this isn't for the scrubs, he is going to find
No,
dips.
he's gonna get it here, and we're gonna be very close. There's the chew strat, so
Does he have enough chews?
an awkward chew strat, but
I say no, he doesn't. He's got a pivot.
yeah.
Where's the location? That's a fine location. No! Before the hammer came down! Get the hammer hit.
Well, meanwhile, Riley is picking up the dins, so both teams are gonna be in go mode here.
Very, very clutch kill there. That was that awkward spot where I swear Volvagia does some weird stuff sometimes, and I was really worried if that crouch tab had been any later. Might not have gotten the hit necessary there. Alright, so yeah, there's water. He's probably gonna go and pick, well no, he's probably gonna map it out. Or is he gonna go for his,
I think he just maps water first, right?
yeah.
Maybe?
I think he's going to get golds.
You know, I guess this is slightly faster than in swimming over when the water raises, so
That's true. So now's the
Grab
part
it.
where we hope that Riley knows all of the tricks in Water Temple, which, you know, in top 4 you would presume, but
yeah, we're assuming that all of these runners will be able to pull off that dragon chest trick. I don't see any way that no one misses. There's no way anyone messes that up here. This is just gonna be
This is
pure
just
execution.
fundamentals now. Yep.
Yeah, because we do still have all of Shadow to run through. We know there's nothing in it, but we gotta map it out.
alright, now we have
Gav, they do not have Song of Time. It is behind Burning Kakariko. They cannot get it. So, let's hope they all know how to go without.
wait, Riley left.
Riley's gonna do Shadow first.
Well, if irons are in Shadow, though, then that's fine, right?
Yeah, I suppose in that respect it is fine.
Like, and yes, like Gav's saying, that trick, that's why I tried to point it out when Sponge did it. That's pretty hard. So, just showing you again how good these runners are.
So yeah, if you're on Team AYAYAlpha Gamers at this point. You really, really hope that irons are in shadow.
Yeah, because if irons, they get them right in shadow, that makes, you know, this trick all moot. They can just irons in real easy.
And if it's not there, where is left?
It pretty much has to be there, though, right?
I mean, there's
We've
Gerudo Valley. There's Gerudo Valley hovers or hammer chest, right?
Yeah, there's that chest, and that's like that's it. Or lens game.
Yeah, lens game. So, from a numbers perspective, you would definitely think it's in it's going to be in shadow, but the placement of those iron boots could mean a lot.
And remember, guys, just keep in mind that Namaha has not done Spear Temple yet.
Wait, why is Riley going back to Child?
To get Nocturne.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot they needed
The
Nocturne.
whole point of this whole dungeon mess. We need one little song.
I always forget that you have to go back to Child to get the Ocarina. When's that coming to Dev Branch? Get Ocarina of Time as adult. Okay, so people are saying that they're pretty confident that Riley and Goomba know the trick. So
Yeah, I think they'll be fine even if they don't get irons, but if they find
I
irons,
mean,
it's easier.
having irons is like a kind of a relief to have.
well, and I guess there's not really a lot to be lost in terms of time here. You know you have to do this eventually anyway, and if your irons aren't here, then, well, if you know the trick, then you kind of get the chance to put your money where your mouth is on it. But so now, on the top left, this is kind of the, not necessarily the moment of truth, but this is where Namaha's execution has to be really, really clean, as Epona gives him trouble.
I always hit that with Epona too.
Yeah,
It's so
Epona,
awful.
Epona plays by her own rules, but this is the thing that he missed earlier when he was pushing all the progression for Team Father-Son bonding. He needs to go all the way to the back of GTG, past the silver gauntlets block, and get his mirror shield, and then go and finish Spirit. Now, of course, they all have Spirit mapped out. I don't presume that Spirit's going to take him a very long time to get through, but this is still time he has to make up. And
But he bailed on water, right? So is it because he's out of bomb shoes that he doesn't?
that he can't do, but they have it mapped out. Were those keys that he needed?
Well, no, I mean for the dragon chest.
Oh, because of the,
Shoot.
yeah. Oh no. Is the Volvagia fight gonna be the reason why this? Oh man.
He missed the arrow shot, and
I guess he's coming back later.
yeah, no choose. So
So yeah, look at this. Looks like Goomba's gonna be the one mapping it out here.
Goomba can map out water while Riley maps out shadow. Again, good split. And yeah, like Gav, you're saying, he can go buy choose at one of the shops, but I mean, it's still a little bit of a time waste to have gone into that room and and then realize you're not doing the trick. And this is the first water dip for Team Ayaya.
I
and
legitimately am
there's
not
shoes
sure
on
who's
top of
ahead.
the.
Oh yeah, they hadn't done that check yet, had they?
Somebody must have, but
Well, no, because remember they didn't have their hook shot until late, and
Oh,
at
that's
that
right,
point
they're
they'd already
team.
mapped out GTG. So, yeah, they never had a reason to check it.
Yeah, I legitimately don't know who's ahead right now, and I think it really depends on if Goomba can get this trick.
And if you can get it
If-
quickly too, that's the other part of this. This is a punishing miss too.
Oh, last try, Skull Torch.
always the last
that's gonna
try.
be that's gonna be what losing the race.
It's always last try. Well, what do you mean?
What do you mean? That's why when you find the lens, you pull it out and you just look. Because if you're me, you have terrible
Namaha.
luck.
Namaha's gonna take what, 15 minutes to beat Spirit Temple? Yeah, it's probably overshooting.
Oh yeah, I don't think it'll take. Well, it's mapped out, so. And I believe that Namaha was the one who did Child Side, right? Or was that Sponge? That happened like 2 hours ago. I can't remember.
I
know one of them-
have been in Child, but
Oh, that's right. No, they did both do Child because they were splitting that at the start. Yeah, so I don't think that his spirit's gonna. Yeah. Maybe 6 or 7 minutes, like mostly cutscene, probably.
yeah, it's gonna be. Gonna see what way Goomba goes here. If he goes straight for the dragon chest, well, after getting the skull, or if he maybe skips it and goes to like the block push or something first.
God, this temple looks so weird with with just the scale.
It's not something that happens often.
No, I think somebody in chat wagered that it's 1 out of every 1,000 seeds that this becomes something that you do.
Although granted, the 37 sphere hell seed from round 1 was like
That was
Chili
1
couldn't
in
even
7,000.
yeah, Killy took 7,000 seeds to generate one that was high, that matched, I think.
This has to be pretty high sphere too. Just like fire was deep, so that key logical pushes up. You've got, all dungeons. We had the side dungeons.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is in the 20s.
And there's the bomb shoe for Namaha. Now he gets it. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, you've got Goomba doing the compass and the block push here before going to Dragon. Just taking a few extra minutes.
Tick, tick, tick.
To be fair, you don't normally do the dragon early anyway.
Right, but in this case, since you know you're not going to the river, it doesn't hurt as
He's gonna
much.
do dragon either last or second last.
Yeah, now he's going boss key.
I guess the one nice part to this is that Riley's is only going to take, you know, a handful of minutes here. So it looks like it's going to be Spirit last for, well, presumably it's going to be Shadow last, but yeah, this is coming right down to it. Wait, is he gonna eyeball? Oh no, he has hovers. Never mind.
We know gold. We know gold chest is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we're going to Dragon Chest.
Butter knife.
Just in time to never go child again.
Oh, there's irons.
Ooh, and Goomba misses the first try here.
He's gonna bail.
I think he's gonna reset the room.
Oh, reset the room.
Yeah.
I think he knows it's probably in here. Well, no, because central pillar stuff.
Yeah, but that's all the more reason that you definitely check it.
Yep, he got it. Second try.
Job's not done yet.
He got it. He got it. He got it.
There we go.
Alright, and then Riley can just come in here with irons. Make it easy.
Yeah, Riley's water temple's gonna be really fast.
Oh, Riley!
Oh!
Did he come out of the door? Okay, so he...
Yeah, he did.
Much less punishing than if he had done that before going into the door.
Yeah, but every tiny mistake is just gonna really come back here. Like, is this the point of the run where you're just like, you're getting nervous? You know, you're like 2 hours, 47 minutes in.
Yeah, he gets bit by the Gibdo twice too.
Gibdo party.
Man, they are at this point. I think I'm not sure anymore. Like, this could legitimately come down to both sides hitting a clean Ganon fight.
Namaha still has a decent chunk of spirit left.
Yeah, he's gonna have a decent chunk of spirit, but like Sponge
Sponge could be the first finisher here.
yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance that he is, because Riley still has Water Temple, and it's gonna be fast, but Dragon, it takes a little doing to get to Dragon, and yeah, I'd say Sponge is pretty comfortably in the driver's seat right now.
And Morpha is just not cooperating.
This is the second Morpha that was being picky today.
Alright, so now Goomba's gonna have a mapped out Shadow Temple to sprint through. And remember that after Spirit gets done, it's only gonna be, so I guess kind of laying it out right here, Riley has essentially, he's got one more key to find and then the boss. and then he's got Water Temple. Sponge just has the remainder of Shadow Temple. Goomba has all of Shadow Temple, and Namaha has all what's left of Spirit Temple and all of Shadow Temple.
And I've hover boots off that boat and fell in the pit anyway, and I thought Riley was gonna do that there. Oh yeah, and they know the floor master's dead.
Riley. Riley, please stop getting grabbed by everything.
That's 3. Do I hear 4? We will not have
That Red Dead.
No, it's gonna be on the skull, it looks like.
Keep in mind, chat, that this is, if you've never seen the rules for co-op, it's an average time finish, not last 2 finishes. So we're gonna take the averages of the 2 racers on the team, and then we'll compare the averages to the other team, and whoever has lowest time is the winner. So even if SaltySponge finishes first, it's good for them that the average may push it up.
Huh. And Goomba going owl into cutscene instead of walking out.
Yeah, that's the standard, slightly faster play to owl into it. It's kind of weird, but gotta save those frames.
I also can't remember who went up and did the stall full through. I don't think that's going to make a difference, though.
No, that was years ago, seemingly. We're at 2 hours and 42 minutes of gas.
I can't believe you're still listening to that.
It's fitting, man. We need a MLG edit of an Ocarina of Time randomizer to gas. And even though, you know, looking at where all the runners are right now, it does look like AYAYAlpha Gamers has, you know, they're in a pretty good spot right now. I mean, the fact that Goomba is entering so far ahead of Namaha, Shadow Temple, which they both have left to do. The fact that Sponge was able to make up so much time after that big just punishment of not being able to have a Song of Time and having to go back and do Ice Cavern. It's, again, it just shows that, like, what good execution and, you know, 10 seconds here, 15 seconds here, 5 seconds here, how much that really does add up in the grand scheme of things. And I know that, you know, part of the reason they're in this situation is because Namaha was the one who was pushing the progression, which, you know, is part of, you know, the dynamic of how these seeds tend to go, but still, it just goes to show you, like, at some point you've got to execute well if you want to compete at this level.
Namaha just getting to Twin Rova, and we can really see here how not doing those dungeons earlier really put Namaha in the hole for the end here, despite finding items earlier.
Yeah, and that, you know, this is kind of the indirect way that you see, like, the misstep earlier kind of coming back to bite them, because Namaha was forced to push progression and finding new things, because that's, you know, where he was at, and he found the item first, and at that point, you have to move forward to find new things, and that's, I mean, that is an unfortunate spot that gets happened when you get too split up, or if there's one particular spot that you've missed that your teammate has to come back and do.
What is Riley doing?
Look, Riley's, you know, just having a little fun.
Maybe he thought you needed a key to get into Dragon Head for some reason.
Ooh, and look at this, Bongo Bongo, giving Sponge a little trouble. The bosses have fought back this seed.
You wouldn't think this is a top 4 tournament seed, considering these boss fights. This has not been a pretty boss fight seed at all.
Hamza with the best answer, because he's an idiot. If you've ever been in Riley's chat before, that is pretty par the course for what Riley's viewers usually say about him. Well, gave a little time back there, so I think right now Sponge is pretty comfortably going to be our first finisher.
Yeah, Sponge gonna finish first here, which...
Riley, what are you doing?
Come on!
Please. This might put a little more pressure and stress on Team AYAYA here, seeing Sponge finish first.
Man, they are giving back time in gobs right now. I'm not even confident in this Morpha fight, given how Morpha's been playing today.
Alright, he's got it.
Okay. Come on, finish the job.
Okay.
Okay. Somehow the cleanest Morpha fight we've seen all day.
Yeah, somehow that was the cleanest Morpha fight of the 4. Like, what is going on this seed, this race? Ooh, if Riley did Stalfos for the beginning, because again, I can't remember who did it, but if Riley did Stalfos, then he's going to catch up. Well, not catch up, maybe, but gain some time back.
Namaha's going Child because he needs Nocturne, yeah.
Yeah, and again, that kind of shows you where this is going to fall. Like, of course, there's still plenty of execution to be had here. Anything can happen in a Ganondorf fight, but...
It looks like Namaha is just a tiny bit too far behind.
Yeah, Goomba's already too deep into Shadow Temple at this point. There's not much left to map out where that'll give him an advantage, but, I mean, it's the final bit of Shadow, and it's a Bongo Bongo boss fight, so... Yeah, so Kevin, Nocturne is required because it's the only way without doing some dirty, rotten cheating to get into Shadow Temple. And as that is not permitted in randomizer speedruns, you do need Nocturne in order to get to Shadow Temple.
Not use the hook shot to get to Shadow Temple.
You would think there would be a way to, but there's
there's
not.
a way. It's just
Yeah, there's a way, but it's
you're not allowed.
Hell Knight will come to your house personally and hit you with the Megaton Hammer if you
Oof.
do it in his tournament. Okay, not Hell Knight because he's against violence. So you're spared.
There are other hardworking members of the Silver Gauntlets that may be more apt to Megaton hammer smashing. Thank you, Lunar. Without hesitation. This means that Lunar is capable of wielding... Riley, come on, man! This means that Lunar is capable of wielding the Megaton Hammer, which I think is the real important piece of that. And we have a missed one cycle on Ganon, too. So, or on Ganondorf, rather. So, man, this is,
None of these guys bought Big Rock Sword. It was right there, and all four passed on it.
Yeah, and we had several trips to being a child, so
there were opportunities. But, is what it is, I suppose.
I said we don't need it. We're in the semis.
Happy 3-hour mark, everyone.
Happy 3 hours.
One's finished.
This is just great, man. They are... Everybody has had a moment this seed where you're just kind of like, what? Huh? I think, who has had the cleanest run so far? Has it been Goomba? I feel like I haven't said his name a lot, which is probably a good thing in the circumstances here. No, we missed the one cycle on Bongo! No! Commentator's curse.
Look, they're all just trying to give us more content here. It's what the fans want. They don't want clean runs. They want to see people die. They want to laugh. Come on. We need to see Riley fall off this pillar here, right? Oh, but he does get the clean Ganondorf.
He does. A one cycle.
Engel, have you learned the one cycle Ganondorf yet? Because it's time for you to learn the one cycle Ganondorf.
Define learn. I can get it. I'm just not a master. He's not with Master Sword.
Alright, and it does appear that despite the early sequence where he was very far behind and did not have Song of Storms until very late, Sponge will be your first finisher in this seed. And a fantastic run by him, really. Just over 3 hours for everything that had to be cleared. Pretty remarkable.
We're going to get these finishes, and then both teams are going to be like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. The other team has one finisher.
Yep, they freaked out, and I heard their comms.
Sponge finishing in first place there.
And Riley is still on about dying to Twin Roba. He talked to Zelda! Riley, please!
Oh man, I can't wait to give Riley so much shit, dude.
Sometimes you just gotta talk to her and be like, hey, you know, you could have thrown this sword to me earlier. Just saying.
Ooh, hold on a second. So if I actually don't know because
Average time does
Oh,
make
wait.
this
Average
interesting,
time. No, I
Yeah,
think
I think Nama's too far behind.
Namaha's a
yeah,
little too far because he's still not even
I
on the
think
boat yet.
he's like 5 minutes out.
Yeah,
right.
he's not even on the boat, so
No, the average time for them is probably going to be somewhere in the 3:05 range, and I mean, yeah, he would need to finish in 9 minutes for this to even be close. But
but yeah, I mean, either way, we got a very close finish for game 1, which is gonna lead nicely into game 2 on Saturday.
The cool part about this was, despite the fact that there was 3 quad dungeons this race, they didn't really follow the same path at all.
yeah, they did take. I mean, and the decision early on, I think this really did come down to, of course, the execution that we talked about, but the decision to go double ice. I would be very interested in talking to father son bonding as to why they opted not to. Because I'm fairly certain they knew it was storms at that point, because believe it was Namaha who had already gotten Saria's song, or maybe it was Spun. It doesn't really matter. The point is, I'm fairly certain they knew it was storms. So I'd have to go back and look at it.
Oh yeah, if Goomba died on the way to Ganon, that would have been insane.
Yeah, I think they split, hoping maybe they could get the second hook shot or something in GTG and not be punished for splitting there. But just so many checks on Song of Storms. Like the odds, I feel like were against you to not just push it when you had so little at the start.
Cycle.
Yeah, and that may have torn it right there.
Yeah, this is gonna be GG, but it's only game 1.
If anyone in top 4 dies to Ganon, I'll eat a sock or something. I mean, after the boss fights we saw today, it's all up in the air.
And Goomba with the clean Ganon fight. That's gonna wrap it up. And hopefully we'll be able to get these guys in for interview in a couple minutes.
Try to go easy on Riley, Tudos. Poor lad's had enough today.
Oh, he's gonna lead right off with the twin rover death, aren't you?
Oh no! I have an idea. So 1 minute and 31 seconds is the official difference between Sponge and Riley, I believe. Nope, it's 1 minute 30 seconds exactly. So, unless something magical happens here, this is a victory for AYAYAlpha Gamers.
Yeah, and they've measured out too. We're listening into them. They've measured out how long they have to wait to know for certain if they win. All they can do is wait.
Yeah, they don't actually know yet.
Riley's losing it right now.
These comms.
He's like, there's no way that they haven't finished yet.
Yeah, this is the beauty of average time though. They have to wait. 20 seconds, they're counting down.
They did it. Oh my goodness, dude.
Man, like again, unless you have their stream open right now, they described exactly what actually happened in the seed. They're describing like exactly what they think happened, and it is so close to what actually happened. I know we talked about this earlier, but like it really is amazing how good of a handle these top runners have on seeds.
Yeah, and it's also nuts like how close we came to completely full clearing everything in this seed today.
What are we missing?
Oh,
Lens
that is not
game.
a good.
Like a few checks in water, lens game, and like Valley Hammer and toilet.
Improperly guessed that Sponge did or didn't do Ice Cavern, but that's just because of the finish time.
You know, this is cool though that they're playing the seed out too. Even though at this point they know.
Yeah, I mean, you've come this far, you might as well finish it off. Because again, father-son bonding's tournament run, unlike the other rounds where it was single elimination, here they're not done yet. So you want to finish this seed and be ready to move on to Saturday's game.
Oof. Now the Ganon fight rough too.
It's all right. He didn't take damage.
Feel like he probably would have taken the Ganondorf fight a lot more seriously if he didn't know
It
he
was
was
still
getting
on.
last.
Yeah.
But really, this was a really fun seed. I'm very curious to see how many spheres this one was.
Yeah, it is. This, I think, so often when we do these seeds, we have to kind of like build up an opportunity, or like maybe if this happens here, this happens here. But in this seed, you really got the sense that like there was always an opportunity, and a couple of misplays added a little interesting piece to it. But it's just now on Namaha cheering him home in the final cutscene.
That's just... the spin attack finish.
Finishing with style. I like it.
All right, GG's to the runners. Game 1 going to AYAYAlpha Gamers. Game 1
Very
of potentially
entertaining,
3.
Very entertaining race, and game 2 will be on Saturday this next coming weekend at I think it was like 1 AST. Someone put the command. I know it's loaded up already, and if game 3 is required, the next day on Sunday is when game 3 would be if Father Son Bonding wins. Welcome, and GG Riley.
Hey, thanks. This was something.
Oh yeah, it was a great seed for sure. Here, we'll just wait for the rest of the people to get in here. We'll get started.
Yeah.
Although it was really funny having your comms up, waiting to make sure that you guys were gonna win.
Yeah, that's got to be a little nerve-wracking when you see Salty finish first, and you're like, "When's Namaha gonna finish?"
Yeah, it's like the exact nerve-wracking point where you don't want to be in.
Yeah, we came in and we listened to you count down from 20 seconds, the 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, yeah, like it's like, oh god, is this snipe coming? But
so, well, it doesn't look like the other team's going to be joining us unless I'm not
Sponge
sure
is
what.
not, and Namaha it's some work things to take care of.
Okay, so I guess we'll just wait on Goomba or Namaha again, I guess. Although I would like to see Namaha come in here, but we'll just give it a second. I guess before we get in here though, can you tell us about how your spirit temple went, Riley?
Not this again.
We heard you even say, I hope they
yeah.
don't talk about this after the seed. As soon as you said that.
So.
Well, it's a lot easier to talk about it after a win.
Yeah, I mean, I just need to fucking practice hookshot, not doing Rova apparently.
Well, I was gonna wait for the other team to get here, but I just want to rest assure you that you weren't the only one to die in Spirit Temple today, as Namaha died to the Iron Knuckle.
The Nabaru or the Iron Knuckle at the
Child,
end?
The child
Iron Knuckle.
They ended
Did
up
he ban-
skipping that chest for a little while because of that.
Yeah, they probably came back with a long shot later. Or I mean, I guess they could have thought it was a key, but
yeah, they did come back with the long shot later. You are correct.
Mhm.
Yeah, the so I guess the thing that we kind of wanted to ask the other squad, I wanted to ask you guys, and you talked a little bit about this after you guys had finished the race. What was the rationale behind going double ice cavern when you did? Because of course, in the end, it was probably the play that got you guys the big gap that you kind of rode all the way to victory. But what was the call there? Just trusting something would be behind storms?
Storms is just way too powerful in these settings. So I like, with how little we had left, I feel like us both coming into ice at the same time was the correct call.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were thinking on stream. With you guys had so few checks outside of getting that song
Yeah, we had like
that it made
obviously
sense to both just go grab it.
all right, we had like, okay, we have a little start, like we have a bit of field, like there's still like adult lake with beans, there's still like a bit of GTG, but like just getting like storms was like, it's like I want to say like 70% of our checks.
I think a part of it is that all our other plays at that point got better with Song of Storms. Because going to GTG, you get 2 more checks of storms. Going to going to Child Cack, you get bottom of the well. If you do the Bean Adult Lake play, you also get the 3 storms checks in river. So.
And we did see that play out with father-son bonding, hitting up GTG before having storms, whereas you guys had it, and it just kind of played out just nicer. And you know, I want to get your thoughts. How did you feel about that hook shot?
Pretty good.
Pretty happy.
I mean, it was our last check behind Song of Storms, so we were obviously glad it actually paid out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were just enjoying the journey, watching you guys on the stream, just check after check after check, nothing. Yeah. Where is the progression?
It was either like, it was very likely there was either Rang or Hookshot at that point because there's so much locked by it. Like even Spirit Temple, which is very rarely locked in these situations, was locked by a Hookshot as well. Like,
yeah.
So how did you feel then when it was around the same time or pretty close to around the time you got golds? Was the thought there, because we on comm said, oh no, if a hookshot is behind golds, then suddenly this all gets broken open in a different way because you still needed so many progression items. Did that scare you guys at all, or was it something that you weren't super concerned about?
It was a little worrying until we got the other hookshot in Forest Temple, but
right, yeah.
I don't know, we didn't really think too much about it.
Because we got the hook before we saw Strength 3, because I got the hook and I was like so excited to get the hook shot, I just bounced right away from Lake and didn't really think about doing the 2 checks there, hook locked, but
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty much always happy to see gold gauntlets in these settings because there's always something in Light Child, so.
Yeah.
It was really fun seeing the Dragonhead strat in the seed too.
Yeah, I'm glad I sort of remembered how to do it because I haven't done it in like I don't even know how long.
Riley was the only one that ended up not doing it because of what everyone had.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of figured that it was either like, okay, we're gonna either find Dins for Irons and Shadow or Irons for Dins and Water. And as soon as I found Dins, like, okay, the clear cut is just me rush Shadow. Goomba goes and does Water, so I can get a little bit ahead in Shadow. And after Dragon Chest, like Goomba's, we were ready to bail Goomba out of Water, so he could grab Irons and make the Water faster after. But
yeah, I would have left after that check if that wasn't the big K, since Riley had just found the Iron Boots. But then it was the big K, so I didn't.
Yeah.
So I know that you guys had you were talking a little bit after you had finished about trying to speculate what Namaha&TheSaltySponge had done that got them so separated. I guess you guys probably had heard it now, but the big thing was that Namaha was the one who did Ice Cavern earlier to get storms, and it wasn't until much later that they eventually realized that they needed storms. So all that time, Namaha was the one who was pushing progression, where Sponge was the one who did a lot of the dungeons. He actually had a very similar path to what you did, Riley. The only major difference is that he, of course, did Ice later, but that's one of the reasons why you guys finished so closely together. There were quite a few moments where you were matched up right next to each other.
Yeah. Did we get a hot quad forest?
Oh,
Not just quad forest, my friend.
Oh. Was it, like,
It was
quad
also
Jabu?
quad Jabu and quad fire.
Yeah, we even had 2
Nice.
people on the synced chickens.
Yeah, that was a
You
good
guys
one
were
too.
like walking back with like the same chicken at the same time. It was great.
And then one person threw the chicken the wrong way after they flew to the back area. And then the other person missed the ladder jump, and then we're almost synced up again.
Well,
Epic.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Like I said, nothing will beat. Like obviously, me dying to Ro was my biggest time loss, but like, yeah, we had a few blunders here and there.
Yeah, I mean, my Baronade fight was a train wreck. I avoided in shadow.
Yeah, you forgot the scale when you went.
Oh yeah, I went to go turn in the letter, and then I forgot I didn't get the scale yet, so I had to go back adult to get the scale.
I would say, as a whole, this was probably amongst all 4 runners, because you guys were not the only offenders of this. This was probably the roughest series of boss fights I've ever seen. And I get when you have to fight all the bosses, it makes sense, but like there were some really, really, really rough boss fights. I think this was probably the Bongo fights in particular. I think only one person got the 1 cycle on Bongo.
I am terrible at Bongo. I will not lie about this. I am
Yeah.
absolutely god awful at that fight.
You need
And then
timing. And
No,
I'm
no
also pretty sure no
consideration
one
to-
got Morpha like really
Quick grab,
nice and
yeah.
solid either. Yeah.
I got the grab, but then I let her go because I'm a dingus.
yeah. No consideration to get that cheap big Oron sword at any point in time in the run.
as kind of like it was pretty out of the way to get that bigger on sword in Child Market.
Yeah, I don't think it would have really saved much time.
Like on average, like if you're obviously not bad, like with the Master Sword, like you save like 30 seconds over the whole course of a run.
It's nice insurance in case you Pepega, but if you don't Pepega, it's gonna lose time on average. So
So
unfortunately, I Pepega'd. So here we go.
F.
I mean, it's all right. You guys still won the mat, or well, you won first game.
Yeah, game
We've
1.
got
Yeah.
Game 2 on Saturday.
Yep.
I think we're all looking forward to seeing the next game of this madness. Hopefully, we get another great all dungeon seed, right?
I mean, ADs makes it so much simpler that okay, it's not like we did a stone baron dungeon for no reason, and then you just get
Yeah,
punished.
I definitely prefer all dungeons in co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
The
it
only
is-
downside was Riley only ended up going to this really deep fire stuff for no reason. That was pretty much it.
Mhm. That's like the only thing that
That was
I
like
did
the
extra.
only thing extra we did after getting hookshot, basically. So then
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
like by the time we got hookshot, we had already done basically everything that wasn't hookshot locked. So.
Yeah, it was incredible to see that kind of a bottleneck. And the funny thing is, this isn't the first time that we have commentated over you guys getting bottlenecked by Lake.
Yeah,
The
no, we
very
talked about
first
that.
seed we commentated 37 spheres and the
Yeah,
iron boots that were needed.
the double scale in Stone Shadow,
Yep.
hammer on Lab Die, that was pretty special.
This one probably isn't 37 seeds, but I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit higher than normal.
Yeah, I can check really quick. We got the spoiler log, so
Oh, baby.
it is 25 spheres.
That's
pretty
about what I
average.
thought. I thought it was going to be mid-20s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it felt like one because the obviously the massive bottleneck. It was not like a chain, so
Yeah.
All right, well, excellent. And if there's nothing else here, remember the next match is going to be on Saturday, October 3rd, and I believe it's 1 p.m. EST. Yes, it is. And then if it does go to Game 3, the last match will be October 4th.
hell yeah.
AYAYAlpha Gamers, do you have any words for your many fans in chat? They were all kind to
fans.
you and definitely weren't keck Wing when a mistake was made. But do you have any any words for the people who've been rooting for you throughout the course of the Silver Gauntlets?
I mean, I have some words to some of them, but I'm sure I'll be delivering those words in person in short order. I see you guys chilling over in that other Discord server. I'll be there soon. Don't you worry.
All right. Well, oops, that is not the right one. But let's get some ayayas in chat for our winners.
I'm gonna use the hot supreme ayaya.
Oh, they
Yeah,
left
I'll just do
for
a
bunch
different
of
one.
wimps.
Oh wait, is that a Milan? Wait, the Silver Gauntlets have a Milan emote, or is that a Medley emote? I can't tell.
That's which one?
I think it's Medley.
The vanilla one is Milan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think they have both. I think the high one is Medley, if I remember right.
Gotcha. I have to do
Got
something
some
about that.
Richards for Riley's win, as well as some ayayas.
Richard Pog.
Right. Well,
Richard was
there's no
not very Pog in this seed.
Well, there is no Hell Knight to wrap up today, so I guess Nine, you can do the honors.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on the Silver Gauntlets. Congratulations to AYAYAlpha Gamers for getting the win in Game 1 of this best of 3. Be sure to tune in next time for these two to duke it out again here on the Silver Gauntlets.
Oh, are we going to raid somebody? Can Hell Knight do that?
He's not dead.
Or is he just going to cut to and be like, oh, sorry, bye?
You know, Zooter fans, they'll find somebody.
Yeah, Great Rose. Yeah, it bamboozled me when I first heard it. Really makes you squid, you know? Well, there is no Hell Knight, so
Yeah.
What happens to the stream?
I guess if someone,
We
I
just keep
guess
talking,
if someone
right?
else has, well, does someone else have hosting ability? If Purple does, then
I don't
Okay,
know.
Purple's looking.
Purple's
Purple's
looking.
looking. Okay.
We're safe. We don't have to just keep talking all night.
Like, we can't talk until the stream cuts, but Hell Knight's gone. No.
well, ZSR is doing MMR rando right now.
Oh,
Wanna
Riley,
do
you got to get
that.
over to that.
Yeah,
I mean,
time dude.
I'm playing the winner of that match, so.
Oh, that's a perfect segue then. Time to raid.
Yeah.
It is a pizza kind of. Oh yeah, by the way, Nine, the Brewers beat the Cardinals. We are in, baby.
What?
Eat shit.
Both of my teams lost it. Oh my
The
god.
Brewers were down 1-5 at the bottom of the 8th, and we won.
My Jays are in somehow. Don't ask me how, but my team's in
It's
as well.
because of the expanded playoffs.
I know, but I don't think they're a great team. They're just still playing well.
like the Brewers do not belong in the playoffs this year at all, but I'll take it.
I mean, yeah, like I said, the Blue Jays is the same thing. No reason they should be there, but they are.
Wait, what are you talking about? It says 5-2.
Wait, oh, I must have flipped the scores. Then let me see.
Yeah, Pog.
ZSR main.
All
Yeah,
right,
see,
looks
so
like we're
let's
gonna
go.
get that raid. So before we do, just once again, thanks.
Oh wait, no,
everyone
the
for
Brewers
watching.
lost, but the other teams, like the other 3 teams that were needed to lose, must have lost. Okay, never mind. I think I
Critical
flipped the
information.
score on my head.
Okay, now
that
I'm
works
seeing in
out then.
chat. Oh no, it has to be Hell Knight to do
We
the
got it.
raid.
We're raiding. We're raiding.
Oh,
Now
okay,
we're
okay,
rating.
okay.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. So thanks again, everyone. Have a good night.